it. Okay, cool. Hey,
Let's go! Finally.
Look at I'm in my sweater, and he's literally dressed up for the.
I told him to look.
This is serious business, all right.
I told him to dress like a delegator. You know.
I brought my popcorn. That's about as serious as I'm getting right now. My popcorn and my drink. So
I've got my water. I've had my shot. I'm dressed to impress. Let's go.
All right. So just to like set this up, right? Just to set this up. I don't know that much about it. You guys I'll be more neutral than you guys for sure. But basically there's a prop on the Cosmos Hub governance, right? Prop 791, like $600,000 US in Atom to pay the projected legal fees of a former employee. Her name is Grace, getting sued by Jaquan's company, AIB, right? That's basically what's happening. And they're the foundational organization behind Cosmos, or one of them. Is that more or less right?
Yep.
Okay.
Founding organization. Yeah.
People in the chat already know who you guys are, but I told Tank, just to show how neutral I am, I prepared introductions for both of you. So I'm going to do your introductions because it's just better that way. I don't let anyone introduce himself on my channel. So for the people in the chat, Signal's here. Signal's already laughing. You don't even know what you're laughing at yet. Just wait. So Tank, for people that don't know Tank, Crypto Tank is a cat on Twitter, and he is basically a heartless, cutthroat, hillbilly capitalist, only cares about his own bottom line. He's a corporate lobbyist for the indoor farm-raised salmon industry. And when it comes to community, Tank talks a big game, but in reality would step on his own mother's face to make $1.
He's spot on.
However, Tank does own the trademark IBC gang. He has perfect attendance at Trump rallies, and obviously can't sympathize with the defendant here because she didn't follow her boss's directions.
Oh my God.
And if the bear market lasts any longer, he's going to be selling online jiu-jitsu courses to us. So that's Tank for people that don't know. Rarma, here we go.
Can't wait for me. Holy shit.
Rarma, yours is shorter than Tank's. That's probably better. But let me see. Is this better? This is better. This is better with 3 people. All right. So Rarma is
not like...
Yeah. I get it.
You're exposing my whole lifestyle right now. Look at that.
I think it looks good, man. I know where I'm sleeping at NFT conference in Nashville.
There you go. Yep.
All right. So Rarma is a kangaroo wearing a business suit on Twitter. He is so far to the other side of the spectrum that Tank is on that even his tears have tears. He's a limousine liberal. He's written in his diary many times wishing that there will be a prop giving validators universal basic income directly from the community pool. Also, a shameless Juno bull has suckered me into many dip buys the last couple of months.
Keep buying. Has
organized several socialist organizations using the pump and dump app known as DAO. Every single one of them he's abandoned, from RAC to blue, red, green DAO to the corporation. Rarma criticizes the foundational organizations all the time on Twitter, but likely has pending employment applications with both of them or all of them. And he definitely represents, I would say, the pro-spend faction of Cosmos, which is like basically 50% of Cosmos, right? So those are my introductions. Did I miss anything, Tank?
I did change. Somebody said it looks like I'm always streaming from a hotel background. So I was like, okay, here we go.
Isn't it true you're in the indoor farm-raised salmon industry?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. So that's that. The way that I look at this with doing absolutely no research is that either you vote yes or you vote no with veto. I understand both of those votes. I do not understand abstain. I really think they should have a slashing mechanism for validators who vote abstain, not with their own stake, but with, contributing to quorum. We know from Prop 95, there's tons of back channeling going on to convince validators to vote abstain. They get to make deals with other validators by voting abstain so that, others can shift the vote. And at the same time, they don't have to face their delegators and possibly lose delegations by taking a hard stance on, every spend is probably controversial, right? Unless it's like, I don't even know. Like, I think even the Cosmoverse spend was controversial. So, yes, no with veto. Totally get it. I expect like 50-50, roughly. I don't know. I guess start with Rarma. You gave me a good, just quick overview yesterday. All in Bits. I don't really know that much about them. I just know it's Jay's company. Jay was founder of Cosmos. What's All in Bits?
Yeah, so I think just let me know if there's any background noise and stuff too. I can close the window, etc. I think a lot of people in the community may not have a good understanding of Cosmos history or background. So maybe a couple of minutes I can explain that. That'll give us a bit of an intro into the history of Cosmos. I won't dramatize it. I'm not going to be for or against. Try to be as factual as I can. I've only been here a year and a half or so, and I've got a pretty good understanding. I may get some things wrong. If I do, just let me know. Either in the chat or in Twitter, just message me, hey, that wasn't quite right.
Rarma's never seen my videos if he's apologizing in advance for getting something wrong.
So essentially, Jay founded Tendermint, both the company and the the BFT consensus mechanism that most chains today use. Early days, he had Ethan Buckman, now president and CEO, president of ICF and CEO of Informal, came in, helped him with that. They worked along to build out Tendermint and had a bunch of community developers, the likes of Zaki, Jack Zamplin, Jacob Gadikin. I think that there's some other people. I don't know these guys as much because they're not as around as much, but I think some of the names are like Pang, etc. There's a lot more, right? Who all kind of work together to build out Tendermint, the consensus mechanism back in the early days. For better or worse, there was some disagreements and people broke off. And we have Tendermint that was formed, and the Cosmos network was formed. From there, we saw the kind of the breakout, and we now have, I think even Sunny was there, right? With that breakout, those people who left didn't get any Atom. When Atom was formed, 10% of the token supply was given to Interchain Foundation with the mandate of building out the Cosmos ecosystem. And they got all of the Bitcoin money and all of the Ethereum money that was raised to continue to build out the ecosystem. Tendermint, or All in Bits, or Ignite, whatever you want to call it, 3 business names, essentially the same thing, also got 10% as a private business, right? So that 10% is currently under All in Bits and under kind of the board of directors at All in Bits and Jay. ICF now sits under the Foundation Council. Spoken about them at length on Twitter, but essentially Ethan's the president, and then Informal split out from underneath ICF.
Got it.
Very confusing, long background.
It's confusing, but I think for someone like me, it helps. It helps because like I said, I'm the customer. I don't need to know how the corporations that made the products that I use are formed. This is definitely helpful. And yeah, there's definitely, bad blood, or at least trash talking, back and forth since,
And I think part of that is it even stems back further than that, right? So I'll just very briefly talk about the split out, right? Like a number of people left. The understanding was, and I believe that there's a written document that says this, the tokens under All in Bits are actually shares and have shareholders of the likes of Ethan, Zaki, etc., that are due to be liquidated and distributed to them as shareholders, right? Yet to happen, as far as I understand. But those tokens in All in Bits are partially Ethan's and Zaki's, etc., that haven't been distributed to them, right?
Okay.
They haven't got those tokens. So a number of people, Sunny went out and built Osmosis. I think potentially it could get this part wrong. Some of the persistence people may have also split out and built out their persistence chain, etc. And they built those because they didn't get anything from the token distributions or allocation out of all in bits, right? So they wanted to continue building out in the ecosystem and build chains and networks that they can get value from for the effort that they've built, essentially. That's mine.
I just want to add in here. I actually think, not that we're going to stray away or anything like that, but I think this is the more important part of the conversation in today's video and in this discussion. But anyway, I just want to say, like, yeah, keep remembering that, guys. Everything he just said.
And I'll touch on it more. There's more context and that sort of stuff that we can get into. But that gives you like a good understanding of the background, how we kind of got where we are today, and a bit of the history of kind of Tendermint, Ignite, All in Bits, ICF, etc.
All right. And again, a bunch of people just joined, right? This is Prop 791. All in Bits, former employee, allegedly broke a non-disclosure agreement. The company is taking legal action, and the company is based in the United States. That's very important, I think. And I'm guessing the employee is based in the United States also. So the funding proposal is to pay the projected legal fees of something like $600,000 US. I mean, it's a very long prop. I don't think it's written, perfectly, but a lot of the info is there. Plus, there's a link that's in the description to the full text of the proposal. But basically, this will be a community spend, and have both you guys here. Obviously, we'll all agree and disagree on different parts of it. Let's start with yes or no stuff for me.
Can I correct you real quick? Again, I could be wrong. I'm just going to say, but I believe they're actually alleged non-disparagement, not non-disclosure.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know
big
the
difference. Yeah.
Tell me the difference.
Well, basically, one, like disparagement basically means, do you mind if I swear on this channel? Or it basically means you can't be talking crap. That's basically it.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So
yeah, and just to quickly answer the question before, I don't see any problem with the foundation distributions, right? That's perfectly fine. It was written in the Genesis. The validator spun it up. That's perfectly fine. The only part that I would question, and I'm not privy to it, is the distribution of the shares within All in Bits to the shareholders, what those timeframes are, etc. Are they being held back in the hope of using those tokens for whatever reason? I don't know. That's the only question I would have, and no one knows that, and no one really speaks about it. Maybe there's contracts that they can't speak about it.
All right. Well, just let's start with some yes or no's. This will help, just see where you guys are at exactly. Number one, I mean, Tank, you go first, yes or no, and then Rarma, you could go yes or no right after him. This was positioned as a freedom of speech issue. Is this a freedom of speech issue?
Say it again. I'm sorry. I was reading Lenny's things. Lenny's absolutely right, by the way. You're right. Go ahead. Say it again.
Is this actually a freedom of speech issue, the way that it was?
No.
Yeah. What do you think, Rarma? It's a yes or no question. Good one, right?
Yeah.
Almost no one can answer these.
I'm going to say yes in the hope that there's follow-up questions.
Oh, yeah. There won't be, but he said yeah. Is All in Bits just exploiting the law just to retaliate against an employee who's pretty much helpless after leaving on bad terms?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Rarma?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a retaliation. The employee is pretty much helpless, right? It seems that way anyway. Or at least can't afford to go through the process the way a company can.
I just want to say, these are his wordings in the questions, not mine. I'm just answering
of course.
the questions that are asked.
I worded them on purpose, and we're being recorded.
Okay.
If anyone wants to make clips from this video, I could send you the original file. Just let me know, and we can make all of us look really bad. Third question. If this never got put on chain, would the community actually really need to care about this in the first place?
No.
Yes.
Okay. Are Cosmos stakeholders responsible for legal issues between foundational companies and either employees or other companies?
No. Sorry, I'm assuming you're asking me first, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I'll ask you first. Yep.
I feel like I'm the yes man here.
I feel like I'm the nomad, so right there with you.
No, it's great. It's leading perfectly into the debate. I'm gonna say again, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Here's a good one. Are validators cowards for voting abstain on this particular prop?
Yes. No. Yes.
Definitely.
For sure. Take a stance, damn it.
All right. I'm also a yes on that. Does passing this prop actually fix the issue at hand if everyone just votes yes?
No.
All right.
Hey, we agreed on something, Rama.
And as far as the courts go, do you think this is just going to be like a cut and dry, the employee broke an agreement, too bad for you type of situation or not?
Based on what I know.
I'm
You
gonna say no.
You think it's a cut and dry, just okay. I don't know. It's why I have friends that have to sign NDAs with.
That's a hard yes or no question, but I'm
Yeah,
just
of
gonna go
course.
based on what I know. Yes.
Well, these are the questions coming from someone who's done no research on the topic, so that's just what you get. But yeah, I mean, I have friends that have to sign NDAs. I have a friend who works at the Pentagon, right? And it's different, obviously, than the disparagement agreement. Is that what you said it was called? Tank?
Non-disparagement clause.
Non-disparagement.
Yeah.
So they're not leaking, trade secrets. They're just bad mouthing the company. Is that's
in the eyes of the company. In the eyes of the company, they feel like they've been disparaged.
Right.
Yes.
But from the former employee's point of view, if this actually has to go to court, it doesn't really matter if she wins or loses. It's going to cost her a lot of money to get through it.
Oh yeah,
substantial amounts of money, and it was specifically raised in the federal court, which is substantially higher costs.
Yeah. It was purposely done. That was the purpose. Like, to go back to your original, like it's a strategic move. Period. Like, it's a chess game, right? And they're playing chess.
Well, that's why I think in the United States, I think that the courts are going to highly favor the company. That's why I think it's important. I mean, that would be my guess. And I think if your name's on a piece of paper, it's going to be interpreted probably 80% of the time to not favor the employee. I think it's going to be, while you wrote your name on that piece of paper, you sign your name, you weren't under duress. And I think they probably hear cases like this, or at least these probably get settled out of court ahead of time, probably like hundreds a day, thousands a day, I would imagine. I worked in simple retail, and my employees had to like read a whole book and sign every page. I never read it, and I was the one giving it. Like it's just too much for an employee to keep track of. So, what does All in Bits actually want? They just wanted to be quiet, or they're trying to get some like 100,000 or 200,000 back from her? What is it they exactly want?
I'll let you go ahead, Rama.
Yeah. So inside the so what's actually written in the lawsuit is they're filing for damages no less than 150,000. Right. Ultimately, that's what the lawsuit says. They want Grace to stop disparaging the company, and they want to recover damages of no less than 150,000. In a federal court, that would take substantially more multiples of money than 150,000 to just file it. Right. That's why I think it's absolute bullshit, and it's not about the disparagement or the dollars. It's more about a power play and to stifle or silence an ex-employee via their money, that is Adam, right? Yeah. Like, they've actively sold Adam to file the lawsuit, as far as I'm aware, and they're using that Adam to sue them, to stop them from talking bad about the company for 150 grand, right? Like we've already lost millions of dollars for this lawsuit before we even get there.
Right. Okay. And I just want to know from a personal standpoint, because, I mean, I'm in the SEC report, so I might need both you guys to vote yes for me at some point. It might cost me money just to like fill out paperwork. I don't know. I definitely don't have it. So I'm going to be going to, I'll go to all the community pools. But I have a question, and I didn't look into this too much, but Rama, I remember you looked at how the foundational delegations went, right? Any correlation between the voting on this and the way that those delegations got distributed to various various validators who are very quick to vote yes on this?
So the ICF delegations, as critical as I am of them, I think that they've pretty much upheld their end of the deal with regards to those. Took forever for various reasons, but they just followed the delegations program and policy. I haven't had time to dive into it in depth, but the people who were named in it got their tokens.
Right, but what I mean is
there
are
a correlation between yes
between
and
the amount that were given to various validators?
No. So as an example, like Informal, I think they were one of the highest, like top 5 or something. They voted no with veto. Notional, the highest, voted yes. They've been strong advocates for the proposal from day one, and free Dennis movement and all that sort of stuff. I don't see that necessarily being a thing.
Got it. Okay.
Like there's a lot of yes voters, but they're obviously supporters of it anyway, right? Like vocally supporting it. Strangelove, Equation, Zaki, Notional, like all those people who are quite vocal about it are voting yes, and then the people who aren't are just voting no or no with veto.
Before we even get
these are all people who have worked with Jay also as well, right? Not just their validators, but these are people who have previous experiences with AIB, correct?
Yeah. There's background, right? For sure. Like, right. As I mentioned earlier, Zaki, Jack, Jacob, there's others who have worked with Jay previously and broke out from underneath the Tendermint organization. And for better or worse, across multiple proposals, Cosmosm on the hub, Atom 2.0 are against or on the other side, if you like. And I think that just kind of highlights the dysfunction in the background that a lot of retail don't see and don't understand. And I mention this all the time. It's like, we just need to stop this shit. And sorry for swearing, I think it was the first one. To stop this.
It wasn't me that swore first, guys. It was Ron.
Classic, the Aussie, right? Of course. We need to stop it. And like they need to sort it out, or someone needs to, we need to either fork or leave, because the longer this plays out, the more damaging it is to the ecosystem.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing that turned me off the most was just seeing it on Twitter in the first place. I was like, oh God, this is a disaster, right? Like this is people who should have lawyers telling them to shut up, just replying to people's tweets like emotionally. And I was like, oh God, this can't be real. This just can't ever be real. But it's real. And even Tank said that Grace was replying to his tweets. She probably doesn't even follow you, right? It's like someone's going out of their way to just like say things in a public forum online. And like, this just doesn't seem like it's that serious of a situation if people are still on Twitter. Like Do Kwon wasn't on Twitter, the week before he got arrested, talking about how UST was attacked by SBF, right? Like that guy definitely
was. Maybe not a week, but like the leading weeks, he definitely was.
I don't know. Like
this tweet's out there.
I think like there should be like some radio silence, and this shouldn't be played out on Twitter. I don't know who started it. Obviously, I saw tweets here and there. I get that, this is a really unfair situation for the employee. I get that, but
So maybe a brief background on kind of where this started might help. It all kind of started from the Free Dennis movement, which is Dennis Fideve, who is a ex-employee of All in Bits, helped write the kind of Ignite CLI, etc. My understanding is he was fired along with a handful of other employees, and he tweeted at Jay saying, "Hey, can I fork Ignite and continue building with my friends?" My understanding is there was a conversation that happened, a release agreement was made, but there was a lot of conditions on it that Dennis didn't want to agree to. Things like non-disparagement, like referencing back to Tendermint, Ignite CLI, etc. I'm not across all those details. And he was like, well, like, no, I'm not going to do that. Why can't I just fork the code and go about my day? And that's kind of when the Free Dennis movement started, right? Like letting him work on the open source code that he wrote. There's an Apache 2 license, but like, what are we here for? We're here to build shit. There's only like a handful of chains that actually use Ignite CLI anyway. Everyone's pretty much removed it. And there's newer, better versions of that. I think Alliance is built using a newer version of it, etc. So it's just really weird that there was those contracts in place anyway. And then Grace kind of championed or led the kind of Free Dennis movement. The community kind of got on board and was like, this is bullshit. Like, we work in open source software. why do we have these kind of contracts in place when like we're just here to build and to make it better. From that then led to the non-disparagement lawsuit. So without that contract in place to work in open source software, we wouldn't be in this situation. So not necessarily saying that people are right or wrong. I just don't think that AIB or the ICF should have non-disclosures, non-disparagement type clauses in their contracts for employees. If you're operating as a normal Web3 business who's open and transparent, why do you feel the need to silence employees or ex-employees in that way, right? What are you doing that you need to suppress their speech to be like, you can't talk bad about us? If you leave a company and they were fucking shit, you should be right to be like, you were shit.
Yeah, see, I mean, I don't know what the precedent is. And in the United States, like I said, I'm sure that the laws favor the companies or make it really expensive for these companies to actually have to, just kind of deal with their behavior or whatever their policies have been. So
if you don't mind, you kind of just like respond to that.
Go ahead, I was going to go to you.
I agree. I pretty much agree with everything he just said. Why? But here's the reality of what we're dealing with, right? You did sign it, and we do have to deal with it. You have to deal with it, at least the person that's the defendant. I also want to say right now, I don't have anything against Grace. I do not have anything against her. If you want to help her defense and fund her legal fees, go do the GoFundMe. Rally behind that. But you did do what you did. You signed what you signed. It's up to the court of law to determine if you actually broke that or not, or if they have a foot to stand on. But it is what it is. Our feelings about the matter doesn't matter because you, as an employee or contractor or whatever it was that your title was, signed it. Dennis was probably the smartest of them all, saying no. Like, that was the smartest thing ever to do, is say, I don't want to do that. But other people unfortunately did sign it. And then knowing that how the environment that you previously worked at, or others previously worked at as well along with you, was, you still decided to do what you did, and actions have consequences. Thus we are where we are. It's unfortunate, but why is it on us, the community, to actually have to pick up the slack and hold that weight for you when you knew what you knew? You signed it. You're, like Joe was saying earlier, your name's on a piece of paper, regardless of how you feel. If there's laws out there in the world, if I don't like that law, I'm not going to go out there and justify it by breaking that law and then saying, I don't agree with it, it's bullshit. That's why I shouldn't be punished for it. There's a law for a reason. There's a consequence to my action. If I don't like it, I'll go ahead and go out there and try to advocate to change that law, per se. I'll go to my alderman, wherever I live, however your governance is where you live, right? I'll try to advocate for change, but I'm not going to go out there and break it, knowingly know that there's a law and there's a consequence, and then say, oh, what was me? Somebody else helped me financially and do my sentence time for me. That's not how the real world works. Welcome to the real world. Actions have consequences.
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, we're getting told we don't know what we're talking about, which is fine, because it's possible.
That's also, I do want to say this too. All of you devs, validators who are guys, this is about more to me, a social sentiment that's being set right now. You guys that are telling everybody else in the community that we don't know what we're talking about, or we don't know how to feel about this situation because we're not informed. You are saying to everybody else, you do not know better. Let us lead for you. Sorry, I'm swearing. Now I'm totally swearing. How in the heck does that give off a good community vibe at all when it's, again, you don't know anything? We are the only ones that know how to bring value to the Cosmos Hub, run this governance. It's obvious you guys don't. If you guys did, let's just say financially, you guys could rally and bring a bunch of financial support, but people weren't selling at the top like they should, being so sustainable with their bags, right? With their services that they provide within the ecosystem, right? You guys were just willy-nilly, whatever. Let's be real about it. Come on, you guys don't know any better. You guys are winging this at the go-to. That's why Adam's $10.
I might take a breath.
I have to. Lenny,
have a sip of whiskey.
We're not lawyers. We don't claim to be.
Correct.
I have seen this information scattered about social media, and we're just commenting on it. This is not a real debate. This is the issue of the day. This is
Yes,
the
it is.
issue of the
That-
day, and there are
It's now a
three.
debate.
Yeah.
We've got
It's
Tank riled
three,
up. I'm
three
about
like
to hit him
sort
back.
of three sort of hard-headed people that are just going to talk about it with varying beliefs, right? That's all.
Opinions. Yeah, and just have a conversation back. and
$10
forth.
And
is
I haven't
better than
voted
$1.
yet.
So-
I haven't voted yet. I'm probably not going to vote, but it's just to me.
I don't have
this
skin
is
in the game in Adam because
Right.
various reasons. But I just wanted to kind of talk quickly on Tank's point around community sentiment stuff because I think it's very important. There is a legal document that's correct. It's up to the courts to decide whether that legal document was breached. My concern is more around the actions of the founding organization. Firstly, having those contracts in place, and I think you are advocating for change, whether that's through the legal system or through the community. I think this is part of that process. So while people may not agree with the proposal to fund the defense, I think that bringing it to the community and to center of attention, like the proposal does, advocates for change within the founding organizations to remove those kinds of contracts.
I agree with that.
Is that something? Is the contracts that are in place currently something that we as an open source, quote unquote, freedom of speech community in crypto who is advocating to replace the existing system, is that something that we want to have our developers and our employees under? And if so, I'm out. Like, I'm not interested, right? Because I don't think those things should exist. And if we don't want them, then this is a course to advocate for that change.
I agree with you.
Okay, let me just cut in for a second because this is what I've seen on social media, right? Because again, I don't care about this at all. I have seen people make bigger issues, focus on bigger issues and implications rather than look at like what's actually on chain. That's one bigger issue, right? Tank's bigger issue, I already know what he's going to say, is how many effing times are the validators going to hit the community pool for something that the community doesn't want, right? And my bigger issue is, do you know how bad this looks on social media for Cosmos? If this was one of the other chains, it would be a joke. There's a lawsuit on whatever chain. I don't want to name one, but Bitsong, right? Or Comdex. Like, no one wouldn't care. But like Coin Bureau has Atom in his wallet, right? He's been holding Atom tokens for like 3 years. He covers Atom. I'm sure BitBoy would love to see some fireworks in the news about this, and then he would be the first one to cover it. So this is really bad overall, and over like $150,000 for some employee who maybe did, maybe didn't violate the law, but it's going to be pretty expensive to find out whether she did or she didn't. And the company that's going after it can eat this like it's nothing. So
and what's the point, right? Like, I've heard comments of no one knows who Grace is. Why the hell are we giving her $600,000? Exactly. If no one knows who Grace is, why does All in Bits, with its $100 million, feel the need to file a non-disparagement contract breach when the damages are so minute?
She's just the easiest target. She's the easiest target.
She
was the easiest target out of all of them. Some of them that have been, very vocal about it. Let's just be real about it.
Do we get to the core of the issue, which is it's not necessarily the fact that Grace did or didn't breach her contract. It's a power play from All in Bits to either damage the Cosmos ecosystem or to get back at other people in the ecosystem when it serves no positive benefit to the ecosystem for this thing to exist, right? The founding organizations are there and the funds that they have are there to better the ecosystem and to improve the financial situation of the ecosystem, right? Develop software, improve, expand the ecosystem, make it better. Not to file lawsuits against employees because you got a little bit upset.
There are other big issues at hand too that I'm sure no one would even think of when they're in this kind of heated environment. But like, this is going to draw even more attention to the fact that there are these ambiguous, decentralized multi-sig wallets floating around that now can be used to fund defendants in lawsuits or vice versa, potentially. Maybe that's not legal in the first place, right? Maybe you can't have a multi-sig wallet that doesn't belong to anybody, right? Like maybe maybe the law is not going to be very, look at that with great favor down the road. So there's lots of things that could come out of this that are, most of them probably bad, right? And again, I think it started with, like, for me, why is this on Twitter? Like, why are people fighting this on Twitter? People's lawyers should tell them to shut the F up, and it should be done through, the traditional means, because like Tank said in his video today, it doesn't matter. This person's anonymous. This is decentralized. This is Web3. The bottom line is, in the real world, there are courts, there are government agencies, and there are laws that sadly have been around for maybe decades or hundreds of years that are going to be used to, not like a prop from 6 weeks ago on some chain that nobody knows. So there's a lot of crap here that's really bad for, at least this ecosystem, maybe others.
No. Did you want to say something? I was going to say something, but I see you wanted to say something.
No, go for it. I was just thinking. You go.
No. So I'm reading, like, I can't help but read some of the comments, guys. I've read the the case or the filing. What am I missing here? She's even said
they're saying we didn't read it. I didn't read it. I didn't read it.
I've read it. Like, there's not much to this. It's pretty cut and dry. She's even admitted it on a tweet today of what she's getting sued for. She understands this. Like, your guys' feelings, like, let me just be real with you guys. It doesn't matter.
I agree.
None of it matters, guys. Get off of that. And again, I've told Rarma this in a private conversation. I'll say it to all of you guys. And again, I've just said it a little while ago. I have nothing against Grace. I agree with just about a lot of everything that Rarma is saying right now, but I'm a realist. I'm a very much realist about it. And I think it's very silly that you guys are bringing in these emotional contexts that doesn't matter. It's not going to sway it one way or another. We got to deal with what we have in front of her, in front of all of us, or she's got to deal with what's in front of her. And that's the case. It is what it is. Should we be funding her defense, knowing what she knew and knowing she signed it? No, I don't believe so. And again, to go into why I voted no with veto, it's nothing against the proposers or anything like that. It's actually my best way, whether people like agree with me or not, of saying I don't agree with the proposal, not that I disagree with helping Grace. No, to me would have been personal, to like, I don't want Grace to have any kind of funding whatsoever, but we don't need to be helping her at all. It was more of a personal thing. No with veto, if you read what it stands, means I don't agree with the prop. So I'm not voting yes. I'm definitely not doing abstain. I gotta do no with veto. What don't you guys understand? It's not that hard.
I just want to say that Lenny, I'm screenshotting everything that you say, and I'm gonna mint an NFT collection.
If her contract's not the issue, then why is she being brought to court?
Hold on, Jacob has a question. Can you answer my question? I hope it's about this topic. What's the topic? Just type it again, Jacob. We missed it. There's a lot of chat. This is the busy chat. This is the most dumbass boomer takes. Listen, I'll tell you right now. I used to manage stores, and whenever we had any kind of legal issue going on, they would literally just go right back to the last document that the employee signed, and it was cut and dry. There would be restitution the same day. They would say, look, this is what we got. You sign this, you sign this. I don't care if you're 18. I don't care if you're 88. Like, this is what you signed.
It doesn't matter if it's a frivolous lawsuit at all, Lenny. It doesn't matter.
It's going to be expensive to be right.
Your feelings don't matter.
It's going to cost her a lot of money to be right. And here's the thing. Oh, she's an advocate. She's this, she's this. Well, if she's an advocate, she needs to go down in flames. Otherwise, she's not really an advocate, right? So you can't have your cake and eat it too at the same time, right? I've heard people make that argument. So it's a shit situation for her, but I feel like this is a very common situation overall. This is just an avenue that a company can take.
Let's maybe take it a step further, right? So breach of contract, fine, right? If we think that's cut and dry, we're going to disagree or agree on that, and let's kind of move on from that one in particular. The next point I wanted to kind of talk to was, say we don't care about this particular one because there's a contract in place, right? Let's say myself, I'm critical of all in bits, or I call out something that they do, or even ICF for that matter, and hypothetically, I'm an American citizen, or Tank on one of his videos, says something, disparages or defames all in bits or ICF, and they sue him. We're okay with that?
Say the last part one more time.
All in Bits or ICF sues Tank or myself because we defamed them or made them feel upset. Are we okay with that?
I'm not saying the situation is right. I'm just saying it's an option.
No, I want to talk to another point. So do you think that that's okay and we should accept that as a community? Just the founding orgs, right? Not informal as a private organization. These two companies, ICF and Ignite, in my opinion, are founding orgs of Atom, and they should be held to higher standards than other private businesses.
No, of course it would be wrong, and this is wrong too. Like however you look at it.
Yeah, this is wrong too. But like,
So the point that I wanted to bring to discuss is if we think that that's wrong, do we think that that is a next step that All in Bits or ICF could take because we aren't supporting Grace in this particular case?
But here's the thing: there's two situations going on.
There's a contract. The contract is the difference, right?
No, the difference is like one we're talking about the prop and one we're talking about the case. I don't think anyone would say the case is right. You have a company just taking a real aggressive action against an employee that needs help, right? And then now the second part of this is all of a sudden it's another spend prop.
Well, let me ask. So I agree. I think right now it's hard. This case is very tricky because it's kind of hard to separate the two, right? The social sentiment of it, like I think we all agree, it's bullshit. It's a bullshit predatory. Like I see it in the chat, guys, and like again, like I've said,
there are many ways to raise funds. We're not saying that no one should give her money. That's not what we're saying. She needs money. Obviously, she's going to get destroyed.
Let me kind of. I want to answer Jacob's. Gosh, and it's going to snowball, but I'm going to try to because I think I want to stay on topic though. Jacob,
it's not really on topic.
Okay, so I care about money. I do. Rarma and I were talking about this earlier, right? Like, I think the more interesting conversation that we need to be also addressing, and maybe it brings up more answers to this untalked about issue, is AIB using funds that aren't really theirs. Like we were talking about earlier when we first started, like to attack G. That's the more interesting part of the conversation that I want to know about. And also, I think that Notional's representative put up a very interesting prop just recently. And I think that is the more interesting way to go about doing it. I haven't voted just yet about how to actually get them to refrain from using the money, the funding that they have in the way that they're doing to attack Grace. That's the more appropriate way to go about doing this right now. The signaling prop, again, we can get into that. So I do care about money. But I do want to go into that. Like Rarma and I were talking about this, right? Right now, AIB, I should just say AIB, is sitting on a mountain of funding compared to us in the community pool. If we open up Pandora's box here, how much more times are we going to have to keep open up Pandora's box? Because once this happens, any issue that comes about, like Rarma is saying, well, what if he attacks Jacob next? What if they attack Zaki or Jake or anybody next, right? Ethan, how many more times does the community pool become
a lawyer can make a whole career out of this?
Yeah. How many more times do we open this up? And I'm talking about money. This case doesn't affect, like we could expend all of that and it wouldn't even probably touch the price of Atom right now, currently for what they're asking. But it's the after effects. It's the ripples that we're going to set if we throw this stone. I don't want to throw this stone. Not in this way, at least.
I think the point that I'll make, Prop 791 and I think it's 793 to get them to drop the lawsuit and potential future community spend props. I think the intent is, and the underlying intent, right, is to get All in Bits to drop the lawsuit, right? There's two ways you can go about that. You can signal to All in Bits that the community doesn't like this and will defend the community against these types of actions via a community spend prop, which is what we currently have with 791, right? That's the underlying message that I get is the community doesn't like this and thinks that you should drop it. And if you don't drop it, we will spend atoms to defend the community because it's shit, right?
I want you to continue your points, but I want to add on this. That also, though, is a dangerous game of liquidity chicken. How much liquidity do we have?
No one wins, right? Correct. Well, no one wins, right? Everyone knows that and understands that. So the message is the community doesn't like this. We won't stand for it. We will defend the community from these types of actions from founding organizations, right? that message may not have been the right one to go forward with straight away, right? I think 793 dropped the lawsuit, good start. Hey, signal to them to be like, we all think this is shit. It's damaging to the reputation of the ecosystem. It's damaging to all in bits, and it causes division. So just drop it and actually do the job that you're supposed to be doing, which is write code and improve the ecosystem, right? I'll leave it there. But I think that is the underlying intent of 791, is to signal to the founding orgs that don't do this stuff because we don't like it. And we think that decentralized ecosystem and decentralized community shouldn't be sued by founding orgs that has money because of our investment.
I think 793 addresses that though better. I just want to say,
Correct.
right.
793, swap the order. If there's a yes vote for 793 and they don't drop it, we go to 791, and then we go, hey, you didn't listen to us. We voted for it. Here's more enforcement on that point to pressure you more to drop it.
Let me just address Lenny, right? What do you mean by settle? Jaquan's asking for trial by jury. What about the attempt to mediate this? Was that genuine?
I was waiting for this to come
or was
up.
that
Yes,
BS?
I was waiting for that. I was waiting.
Yeah, we're both waiting for it. I'm happy for you to go first, Tank, because I think I led the last
by all means. I think I've been.
Because do we know for sure that that was a genuine, attempt, or is it just like PR part of the strategy? Like it's.
I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to pretend like I know how filing lawsuits and mediation happens. My perspective on this is the lawsuit was filed. Take a step back. 21st of the 3rd. AIB sold a 500,000 Atom. 23rd of the 3rd, they put out the tweet saying that they filed a lawsuit against Grace. The 25th, they tweeted about it. Sorry, 23rd, they filed it. 25th of the 3rd, they tweeted it. A lot of negative community sentiment on that, right? Like a lot. They got completely ratioed on Twitter. Everyone was like, this is dumb. You should stop. The mediation offer was submitted by All in Bits on the 3rd of April, 3rd of the 4th. So a week or 10 days after filing the lawsuit, they put out a mediation offer. Why would you, in 10 days after filing it, be like, hey, actually, we just want to come and have a chat, but here's a multi-$100,000 lawsuit that we've raised against you in federal court, trying to seek damages of $150,000, it doesn't make sense to me, right?
That's
it makes total
I'll
sense.
leave it there for now.
I think it's irrational, but
it makes total sense though. Like again, guys, let me look deep into the mirror. Fuck everybody's feelings. Fuck your feelings. This is your first rodeo, and like seriously, guys, it's a freaking lawsuit by a big company with a war chest to do so. Yeah, it's wrong, but they're playing their cards. They doesn't care about your feelings.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly
it's
the
definitely
way they should be doing it.
It's a strategy. It's a strategy that
correct.
an individual decent person would never expect.
Never. Yeah, they would. Rama, Joe, we would never do this. Jacob, Lenny, like nobody would do this.
Listen, and again, I hate to bring up something that's seemingly unrelated, but I'm telling you, when I worked in the quasi corporate world, we had loss prevention, and their job was to not prevent losses, but to get restitution. You got to see what they would do to get people to sign papers and like give back money that they had people giving back, paying for things they didn't even steal just to get themselves out of trouble. And it's just
Jacob, I'm not being willingly ignorant. I'm being painfully realistic. There's a big difference, my friend. Big difference. I'm far from ignorant to what's happening right
for a second today. I thought maybe I should unblock Jacob and let him pop in, but I know that it will go off the rails quick. So,
but agree to disagree.
Yeah.
So do we think that, I think we can all agree that, whether we think it's right or wrong and feelings or whatever aside, these aren't the actions of a founding organization or founding member of Atom and Cosmos that we really want to have in the ecosystem, right?
No. Yeah,
so
I agree with that.
What do we do, and how do we signal that to All in Bits and Jay that this is bullshit and that it needs to end and it needs to be dropped, because it's a net negative for every single person.
Oh yeah,
everyone.
I think honestly, again, I think it's 193, 790. By the way, I had lint on my mic; it was bugging me. I think 793 is the more appropriate course of action. Like I think it's maybe not the entirety of everything that we need to do, but it's the first step, I think, of many that we definitely need to. And this conversation, where regardless of how painful it is and how much you guys might hate me tomorrow and forever in the Cosmos ecosystem, everybody, this is what we need to do. We need to open it up and actually have these conversations, and maybe it'll get across to AIB and everybody else that we all think it's shit. Drop the case. You've made your point. Also, hey, look, let's get those atoms that should be given to the rightful owners over to them, and stop using it to attack people in the way that you're doing, and like ship some shit. Let's actually push this forward. But again, guys, I'm just being a realist. That's all it is. So again, if you guys hate me later, it's fine. Just unsubscribe to my channel, whatever it is. But I'm being real. Fuck your feelings.
I mean, I would also say so much damage has already been done. Like, even if they drop the lawsuit, this is horrific. This will be on Twitter forever. They'll always be bad
it's further division from, like, Prop 69, which I think was Cosmosm on the Hub, Prop 95, Atom 2.0. It's further seeding division within the Cosmos Hub and the wider ecosystem that does no one any good. It doesn't do anyone's bags any good. 100%. It doesn't. And personally, it all stems from one entity and one person's decision making, as far as I'm aware, to take these actions, right? And these aren't actions of someone who wants to improve and better the ecosystem. What has All in Bits or Tendermint or Ignite contributed to the Cosmos ecosystem in the last 4 years, maybe 3?
Nothing.
I mean,
right? Positively, right? I can understand there's a vision that Jay and Tendermint, etc., has, pub minimalism, etc. Like, I get that, but like, you need to actually deliver on something and engage with the community on those visions in a positive way for you to have any form of respect. Because the way that you're acting now is you're doing more harm to your history. Things like removing the Tendermint repo access and forcing everyone to create Comet BFT with little notice. And now every chain is going to use Comet BFT and very few will use Tendermint, right? Those actions alone are damaging the reputation and the history of Tendermint, Ignite, All in Bits than the community's sentiment will ever do. You're removing yourself from your own history by taking these.
Do you think, Rama? I kind of want to ask you.
Can I just address one of the comments? Lenny was talking about, like, something about how Atom, retains its value is completely wrong. The only thing that determines Atom's value, it has such an unclear value proposition, the price of Atom, how much is bought versus how much is sold. That's it. That's how almost every crypto works in Cosmos, because there is no clear value accrual. So this is not the cultural sentiment of the ecosystem determining the price. You're absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. Everything else you said about me not knowing anything, that was true. I screenshot that and I'll make that an NFT tomorrow on Omniflix.
I think some of the message, I kind of, if I look over here, I'm looking at the chat, the one underneath the video is not working very well. The point that that I haven't made yet, that I think is very important, is, and it's around sentiment, Twitter sentiment, legal sentiment, etc., and the threat of legal action. It's going to turn people away from the ecosystem. This lawsuit against Grace, if you are a developer or you're a business analyst or you're an advisor, and you come in and you see that someone has been sued and taken through the ringer for all of their money or whatever for years, and there's other options out there that you can use, you're going to go those other options.
Why would they go there, though? Who cares? They didn't work for All in Bits. They don't have that contract.
No,
they don't have that agreement.
So it comes back to the point of that I made earlier around being a community member and the threat of All in Bits suing you for defamation if you're an American citizen.
I never
or
signed a contract with them. What the fuck do I care?
It doesn't matter. You can be sued for defamation just because you said something on a YouTube video.
It could happen at any given time. But like that, my point is, I don't think that fear is an actual reasonable. That's like saying I'm gonna be fearful of walking outside because a tree branch might fall on me at any given time. Like, that's kind of, in my opinion, I think that's an unreasonable, like, scare tactic. Like, oh yeah, like you can be sued at any given time. I could be sued because I look at somebody the wrong way when I go into Costco. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna go into Costco. Like, I
have a question. I have a question about, because I mean, with every prop, the question is like, here we go again. The community's paying for this. The community's paying for that. When does it return value back to the community? usually never. Where'd they come up with the number 625,000 if the suit's for 150? Can't she just pay the 150? That boggled me when I
Well,
first read
it's
it.
I think it's a minimum of 150.
Yeah, they could go up to like
Yeah.
a pretty large amount, but I think it's a
Yeah.
minimum of 150.
Well, this is a good time to plug the umbrella policy that I renewed back in September. I have that, and everyone in the chat that's crying with a whole bunch of, capital letters, you might want to look into an umbrella policy yourself, especially if you live in the United States, where, like Tank said, you can get sued for anything. And I was told recently by animal control that if I took my neighbor's dog shit off my grass and put it on their grass, I can get sued. So I don't
But
understand.
you know,
The chat
is it
devolved.
worth it?
I might turn the chat off. It's devolved into crazy.
I like it.
Is Adam a security talk, which is
Damn it, I like it. Anyway, though, I think so. Again, for me, I appreciate that Indigo Mafia. I think I said that right. I can't help, especially in a legal stance, to get black and white. Like, I don't like the gray areas. That's not what I'm trying to get into.
well, some
really
people are
not.
saying that she didn't even violate any agreement.
Well, like
Even if she didn't, this is going to cost her a shit ton of money.
yeah,
right?
She's done. She's bankrupt, right?
These
Before
people,
she even
you
gets
guys
to court.
don't understand. It doesn't matter. You could, if you have the money to file a lawsuit against somebody else, even if you end up having to pay their legal fees and something happens to you, it will take like 5 years. In the meantime, if someone, let's say you make $100,000 a year, you lose your salary, you're going paycheck to paycheck, and you get sued for like a year's worth of your salary, like your life is effed.
Here's my question, and I really am curious about this. Why didn't she accept the mediation? Why not? From what I saw, if
They're
it was
saying it's
true,
BS.
if it was presented, regardless if we think it was BS or not, just say if it was true, right? It looks like that was the best way out. And then fucking this also stain that they did on themselves would have been known, right? Like, I just don't understand that.
To go into mediation, I did do like a brief amount of research on kind of mediation within legal suits. You have to kind of go in there with like a good understanding, some level of trust. Go in there with good faith and a realistic expectation of outcomes. If both parties can't agree on that, mediation's useless. And one side or the other, if they can't come to an agreement on what the mediation terms are, then it breaks down, right? So from that standpoint, I can understand both sides being like, one side being, hey, let's go mediate. The other side being like, the conditions of the mediation don't make sense for me. Why would I bother? Because there's no like realistic expectation of a positive outcome, right? And if they don't,
the way I looked at it is that all in bits look like pussies when they asked to mediate. Like, even if she accepted it, she could be like, everybody, she would never have to do it. Everybody else could be like, you know what happened. They had to tap themselves, kind of thing. But I don't know. That's just me. I don't again. I didn't do much research on the mediation part of it, but that was baffled about that.
Jacob called me a tightwad, but he's right. I'm the cheapest person in this conversation.
I think just in regards to just briefly on the community pool stuff, I actually looked into the Cosmos Hub repo for how should the community funds be spent, and I shit you not, it literally says we do not know with the shrug emoji. And it says the main assumption is that it should be spent in a way that adds value to the Cosmos Hub with like a small blurb underneath it. So there are no rules for what the Cosmos Hub community pool funds should be spent on. We decide as voters what we think is a positive influence for the Atom ecosystem or Atom, the hub, to spend our community pool funds on. One thing I will say is that crypto Twitter sentiment, while it does influence validator votes, the majority of us are plebs and our vote power doesn't matter.
Oh, of course. 100%. And also doing the opposite what the community does, I think it works out like 51% of the time. So if you fade crypto Twitter with like every move you make in crypto, you probably don't need to care about governance. You'll be all right. I just want to show you guys, we're going to take a quick break to just lighten things up a little bit. I just want to share my screen, see what you guys think about this. This is the number one. What? This is the number one ranked NFT for the After the Filter collection. This is the number one ranked out of like 9. I think there was like 19 or 20,000 or like 200,000 of these in the collection. I minted number 1. And let me tell you, everyone in the chat, I'm going to tell you how I did it right now. I was at a red light and the mint was about to happen. I'm like, oh, perfect. Red light. I don't have to pull over. My phone was out, had the funds. I was going to mint 6. I had just enough to mint 6. Red light, countdown, boom. Send the transaction. It jams up the whole app. I was like, shit. If the light turns green, I'll just do it at the next red light. But I had time to ram through another transaction. This is what I got. Number one.
This guy and his number ones.
I also have the number 1 Maneki.
Flexing.
Which I didn't mint.
Bastard.
But yeah, that's what it's all about. It's all about NFT. How good can you NFT mint? How good? I watched Rocky 2 the night before, and I was underneath high voltage power lines when I sent the transaction. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Rocky 2 is the best Rocky movie, by the way. I think by far the best Rocky movie.
I think I have to agree with that.
Yeah,
I disagree with your minting and flaunting of your talents, but I agree with Rocky 2 being a good movie.
Yeah, Rocky 2. I'll go 2 and then 1 and 4 tied for me.
Oh.
All right, so
yeah, we could agree with that, Jacob. Honestly, we could agree to disagree. Everybody has their opinions, right? Like I said in my original video, this is my take on it.
All right. Well, says the liar. I'm dishonest. You're a jerk off. Fucking idiot. As soon as he came into the chat, he goes, "Oh, that's the Joe Chain guy." I'm not. Technically, you're the Joe Chain guy because it was your code that built the chain. You just chose to overlook it for about 5 months.
Careful, Joe. Notional is a very rich legal entity. You're an American citizen.
Thanks to community funds.
Defamation.
Thanks to community funds.
I'm the only one wearing a Cosmos sweater, you fuckers. Put it that way. Here they go.
This is the best comment I've ever seen. Not because Jacob, his name isn't there, but just better to be dishonest than an idiot. Maybe. I don't think Jacob's not an idiot. He's managed to get way more out of the community pool than I have.
So Rama, I wanted to ask you earlier. Not that it, we are where we are now. It's kind of the but I'm curious to get your take on it. I've been kind of following along the breadcrumbs. I haven't been trying to ignore it as best I can, but obviously, it was really hard, as involved as we are, over the past year or so with what's been happening between Jay and the rest of the former employees with AIB. Right? It's been a long, bumpy road. The way I see this, in my being very, very honest about it. Like I said earlier, I think G was just kind of like a low-hanging fruit and the easiest target. But do you think that we poked the bear a little bit too much over the past with the comments from not we? And I'm saying we as do you think certain individuals poked the bear way too much, and what G is kind of now collateral damage of it?
I think there's far too much background information and history between the prominent Cosmos entities, right? You can clearly, it's clear if you spend 5 minutes looking into it, you can see that there's
this is an internal fight. That's why this is an internal fight.
Yeah, and it spills over into the forefront of the ecosystem, and it's damaging for all parties, right? I do think that G, whether freedom of speech, whistleblower, etc. She is the lawsuit, and her being sued is the outcomes of those the burnt bridges and the previous actions, for sure, right? I see little to no reason why a former employee is being sued in this way when it does nothing to better the ecosystem, right? I think it's very much a power play, and for me it reeks of someone who's desperate for any form of relevance within the Cosmos ecosystem.
Do you think there's any kind of actions that we could have taken, or responsibilities on ourselves in the past from certain, not saying we did it, I'm saying as a general.
In general.
Do you think that there's responsibilities that, or actions that regrettably have been had in the past, or, like I said, responsibilities that should be burdened and admitted to by previous entities or people that have led us to the point of where we are? Because if you believe that, I believe that entirely. That's why I believe this is an internal war that's unfortunately spilled out now to where the community has to deal with it. Stupid. It's been
Well,
going on for a long
I
time.
think it's super interesting, right? Like the breakout from kind of under Tendermint, Ignite, All in Bits of the the various
true.
community people we see now. They actually ended up going and building IBC and implementing it outside of Tendermint. Like without that breakout, we wouldn't have IBC and we wouldn't have the 80 odd chains we have now connected to IBC. Before that, we wouldn't have the 80 odd chains because Tendermint was built, right? I think there's a divergence, whether it was an internal disagreement or a divergence on the software itself. There's an obvious gap between the kind of all in bits or J side and potentially the GNO side, GNO land, and then what we currently have in the Cosmos ecosystem. And unfortunately, both parties have stake in it. And that really, I think the only tangible outcome at this point, without completely destroying the ecosystem, is to fork it. Like you need to fork both parties, let them go their separate ways and build. But no one's going to want to do that, right? Like there's $100 million on each side. There's $2 billion in, give or take, in atom value, and no one's going to want to part with it. So unless people actually, the Bucky tweet, we're fucking back, like unless you're actually going to sit down and work and solve the issues to make it so you can actually work together to achieve outcomes for the ecosystem, that sort of shit is completely meaningless. It's pointless.
So let me ask you that, since you brought up that photo, we know that they, or Ethan's side, just recently voted no. Was it no with veto or no? Let me look at it actually.
Yeah, no with veto on
no with veto.
791.
What do you think that's all about?
I think they think it's irrelevant to the hub. Personally, I don't think that they don't think that it should be on the hub. It shouldn't be something that they should be forced to vote on.
Simple
and
as that.
As we explained before, it's you vote yes, you're in support of spending the money to defend Grace. You vote no, you are not in support of getting Grace defense, which I don't think anyone really wants. Do
you agree? By the way, did you agree with how I thought?
Yeah, I'm just about to finish that and say that now, right? And a no with veto is this isn't relevant to the Cosmos Hub. You can't bridge the AIB as a founding organization suing an ex-employee as something that's relevant to the hub. I think that it is relevant to the hub only because they're a founding organization. If it was informal or not, informal's previous name, don't want to go down that route. Let's say it was Notional suing me, right? And I put that up to defend me. It's not relevant to the hub at all, right? Because Notional is a private business, not a founding organization of the hub, didn't get allocated tokens from Genesis. Notional has, as an organization, consume me all they want. But as a founding organization, ICF and All in Bits, I don't think that they should be suing anyone for talking about the ecosystem, even if you feel like your feelings got a bit upset. So that's how I bridge it to be relevant to the hub.
Do you think? Let's just say we go that route, right? Do you think that we possibly are going to be opening up Pandora's box with proposals if we do this? Then, if let's just say, I agree with you.
My hope is that by signaling yes to 791, it gets All in Bits to drop the lawsuit and they won't file them again. And eventually we get them to the point where these contracts simply don't exist. That's my end goal.
What's your worst case if we vote yes? And what's your worst case scenario if we vote yes? What do you think is the worst?
It burns Adam down. And I think you head down that path if he doesn't drop the lawsuit anyway.
So realistically, if you're trying to be conservative and you're trying to play what best case scenario is a hope, cross fingers, worst case scenario is very realistic that it burns it all to the ground. Do you think that it's justifiable that everybody thinks like we shouldn't do that then?
I don't think either of them are positive outcomes. The only outcome that I see is positive is they drop it. It's not good for the ecosystem at all.
Whether we support G mediates and just agrees with it, or they just drop it, right? Is the best outcome. The best two outcomes that we have is one, first and foremost, they just drop it flat out, just drop it, make their point said, and they say, okay, we're done flexing on people. Second one would be that G just goes ahead and says, okay, we're going to accept whatever terms you give us. Just please stop fucking with us. That's the second best thing possible. Right? Just don't fuck with us anymore. I'll just stop. That's the two best things. What's the third option that we have?
So I think
793 is the right.
If 793. So I think the whole just stop fucking with us thing. In my opinion, if you go down that route where you're like, hey, just stop bullying us, big old scary Grace, and community with hashtags. If you're so upset about some sentiment and some tweets, like, what are you actually doing with your time as an organization that's sitting on $100 million?
Oh, they're doing nothing. We all know they've done nothing.
Don't look at Twitter and be like, oh my God, they're being a bit mean. Like, go and fucking write code and have your employees do shit. And then in their spare time, if they want to come and bicker back and forward, go for it. Like, it's a net negative. If the community was to fund it and it went to court, it's a net negative, right? I think that the positive from that would be people should have a better feeling about speaking freely about the foundation organizations, which is the only way we get a positive software outcome and change the status quo of the current finance system. If we feel like people are suppressed and don't want to call out bugs in code or bad practice within foundation organizations, people aren't going to come here because they don't feel like they can speak about them.
Do you think here, and this is kind of like, this is what I've done. I've just sat back and have a couple of old fashions and thought about this, but like, I don't think, and honestly, I just don't think that even if we were to spend 300,000 on it, I don't think that it's going to make anybody feel more comfortable with talking shit or bad or truthful about the founding organizations, because all they're going to do is go after the next person. They have much bigger mountains of bags to do that. They can attack it, and it opens up Pandora's box inevitably for how many people are we going to defend? And how many people are going to be willing to do so?
I don't even think it gets there, right? Like, if the community was to signal support of it, I think they would drop it, because there would be an overwhelming sentiment from the community
that we were going to get here in the first place anyway. So like,
yeah, in my opinion, is if it was to pass and the community was to signal quite strongly to all in bits that we will defend the community if you try to do this, they would drop it, and then they would strongly consider ever raising suits again in this nature, because the community is saying we don't want you to do this. And if you really want to go this far, should they continue to proceed with the lawsuit, you can slash them and take their 10% of their atom. That is a software thing that can be taken on chain and slash them out of the network, and All in Bits wallet no longer has tokens. You fork it, you move on, their tokens are now worthless. That is like a viable option that could happen. Do I think it would happen? Fuck no.
Yeah.
But could it? Yeah.
Super
right.
Interesting. Yep.
So
cool.
All right, so let's talk about the the no land airdrop. Like, if people vote no with veto, you think it's going to fatten up the airdrop a little bit, or what?
Oh God,
Tank, I know that's what you thought about before you.
The airdrop has no monetary value.
Yeah, yeah, you might get a whole bunch of it, but I don't know.
I'm not shitting on the software, right? It's the way in which GNO land is structured is that token has no monetary value. You get monetary tokens by contributing. Yeah, that's my understanding.
That's my understanding of it too. You got to contribute.
My understanding is that the days of airdrops are coming to an end with the way regulation is happening now, and that was why Omniflix did what they did. Just
to comment on Glorp, I think it is, says I want a Prop 16 atom. No, I'm saying that if the hubs, if the community in terms of vote power was dissatisfied with All in Bits, that is an option that can happen. You can fork the hub, and in the new fork, the validators spin it up, and those tokens don't exist. I'm not saying that
which tokens don't exist.
The All in Bits wallet.
I mean, it's effectively a Prop 16.
It is, but it's via
a little bit different. It's a little bit different because
you're not taking control and ownership of their tokens. You're just forking the chain to say that they don't exist.
Right, but jumping onto a better ship.
I'm not saying
I think that would be.
I'm saying that it's an option that could happen. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. I think Jay's, he kind of comes in and out into the consciousness of the community. You would think he would have been a lot more active during, like, what is it, Prop 89, Prop 95, and then boom, all of a sudden this lawsuit, right? After not hearing from him since Atom 2.0. Like Rarma said, go ahead.
I was very surprised he wasn't active during 95, the Atom Accelerated DAO, because I think there was a clear vision for the Atom Accelerated DAO was to implement 2.0 in stages, right?
Right.
I think we all understood that and got that. I was actually quite surprised that he wasn't coming to speak about that or to be kind of against it. Maybe wasn't informed or quite aware.
Did he vote?
I'm not too sure.
I
don't think he ever votes with that wallet. I think he has another personal wallet. But the actual, I'm looking at it now, the Ignite wallet. They haven't voted on any. I think they voted. Sorry, the last one they voted on was 82, which is 2.0. So they know we vetoed on 82, but haven't voted since.
Got it. Okay.
They do delegate, I would say, quite strategically, and you can see the sentiment of the validators that vote is very much aligned with the communications from Ignite.
Well, we know everyone with big wallets
right?
delegates very strategically, including validators themselves, right? So
That's the whole point of it, right? Is if you've got a bag, you put them in places that people align with your values, right? I do it myself.
Of course. No, but
it's their tokens, they can do that.
Yeah, and part of this that I see that sets the stage for something like this, even going on chain in the first place, is that in Cosmos, the validators are like leverage voting with 1,000x leverage in some cases, right? They're also able to they could vote abstain with other people's token, and then their wallets, they could vote the way they really feel without risking losing delegations. I don't think there's a way to fix that unless you have, I'm not saying one abstain vote, there's a 1% slash. I'm not saying that, but multiple abstain votes on community spends. Like, what are you doing then? Like, I don't understand.
I don't, and this kind of, I don't want to talk about a specific chain or anything too much, given I'd worked on it, but like, it's the whole like experiment that Juno's going down, right? Where validators aren't the right people to be making these decisions.
Juno bull right here.
For the most part, they're not actively engaged or informed across a lot of these decisions. They don't want to make these decisions. Mostly they're software people who are here to manage infrastructure and manage software. And they're making these sentiment type votes on where funds should be spent. And the majority of them probably aren't equipped to do that, right? So fundamentally, the system that we use, there's not a right balance. So there needs to be something new that comes in to change that. So then validators,
I would like to see some of these
validators.
I would like to see some of the smaller chains experiment a lot more with different
systems. Right? And it's
wind is a really nice breath of fresh air,
and it might not be the right model, right? It could be completely the wrong model. We think that community always has the best idea and the best, but not always, right? I think Prop 16 is a great example. The community was like, hey, we need to get rid of him. Turns out it was probably the wrong decision.
Yeah, but there was a lot of misinformation also. That was
I don't want to go into that too much, but like it's an example of where like community sentiment can be right, but or mostly right via on-chain votes doesn't always mean it's the right decision. And
no, I voted yes knowing it was wrong. I voted yes knowing it was wrong because I'm like, you know what?
You made your bags bigger. You thought.
No, because I thought like you just can't have one person with 10% of the vote. It just, you can't have that. It's a botched airdrop. And I was like,
so early on in the life of the chain, right? Like ICF and All in Bits, they had 10% from Genesis, but there was a lot more tokens in supply, right? Like anyway, moving on.
Right. So
validators aren't the right people to be voting on community spend props, and I think Atom Accelerator DAO is an example of how you can make that process better. You elect people or you nominate people to be put in those positions who can make decisions that align with your goals. And the hub's probably a poor example because it's minimalist, right? But something like a permissionless network, you can have any vision or any goal because you can take that chain in multiple directions. Is he proven that he has pants on?
He wants to stand up so we're classy. I think I'm not setting the bar too high. I think Rama is though.
Yeah. There you go. I've at least got
the truth. It's the news reporter.
I've got suit pants on at least and a belt, some socks, one sock actually.
Oh man, hilarious.
All right, so
yeah, I think everyone kind of understands that. The validators don't even necessarily want to be voting on this stuff all the time, right? I think there's a misalignment between the current version of the software that we run and what we've experienced with regards to people and process and decisions. And I probably said this a year ago or maybe 6 months ago. It's like fundamentally the proof of stake network, blockchain and ecosystem and networks, it won't succeed in its current format. It has to change because of people, greed, poor decision making, And when you include large amounts of people with varying ideologies, you won't get a successful outcome for everyone. And that's a good thing. And those people should fork the chain, or they should split off a new chain that aligns with their vision and their goals, right? But then what you end up with is what we have now, where people go in their little silos and they stay in their little happy bubble and they don't listen to other people's thoughts and opinions and views. It's human nature.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that it's online. Everything is compartmentalized even further, and also everyone's emotional when the prices are not cooperating. So there's that also. I mean, people that don't even have Juno are slamming the Juno community right now because they don't like the price. And at least I think Atom is looked at as a little bit more legitimate and more established as the other chains. You would expect governance to be more developed, but it's really not. It's in its like original state. I think Wind is a little bit of a breath of fresh air. I would like to see more experiments on other chains. I would like to see a chain that doesn't let validators vote with other people's tokens and just lowers the quorum and see what happens, right? You should be able to switch it back. Like you said, validators don't want to vote for this, right? I mean, that's fair too. That's
I think
fair
most people don't want to vote for this. Like,
well, that's the thing. And when you vote abstain, you're voting for, you're basically lowering quorum.
Actually, you know what, gentlemen, we forgot the fifth option, and that's don't vote at all. But
I'm not voting. I'm probably not voting. I haven't voted on anything in a while. I can't. I don't want to get emotionally involved in governance. Period. Just so people know in the chat who's saying I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't read. I don't read. You're right. And I told both of them I don't care about this at all. I don't. I just wanted engagement on my channel because I haven't put out a video in a while, and I owe a lot of videos, and I'm backlogged, and I need to release some videos. But Rarma for president, yeah. I mean, every chain
President Rue already.
Side bet, everybody. What do you guys think is going to happen? We have what until what is it? The 5th?
It's going to get vetoed.
You think it's going to be vetoed? You think it gets shot down?
Well, what percent need to be vetoed for it to
33?
33, yeah, 33%.
And I mean, that's kind of high.
I thought 27.67 turnout right now, but
I thought it was lower.
29% veto at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, 33% of what though?
Voted power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so I think
so yes, no with vetoes. You need 33% to veto it. I'm pretty sure.
Move on to 793, my friend. Like, I haven't voted on that one yet, and I need to actually really reread that 4 more times, be honest with you. But I think it's very interesting. I think, again, I was telling Joe and, or maybe I was telling Rama, that I think the bigger, I said it earlier, actually, I said it to both of you guys. I think the bigger conversation and spotlight, I don't want to take the spotlight off of G, be very honest with you, I don't. But I think one of the conversations that we need to talk about more is the Atom that AIB is in custody of right now and how they're using it.
Yeah, because right, they're selling tokens to basically go after this employee, which for people in the chat who don't understand how conversation works, we're not saying that we think that she should be punished and she broke the law.
All.
No one said that, right? We're saying that once you put it on chain, it creates like a ripple effect, and you could choose to ignore certain ripples, or you could go all in on other ripples, right? The original issue is that the company is just taking extremely aggressive action to somebody who has no way to defend themselves alone, unless, in the beginning, I know the propaganda was it's free speech, it's free speech, it's free speech. Well, then a civil rights lawyer will be happy to work for free if it's really free speech, but it's really not. In Web3, we think everything is free speech. It's not. So, anyway, you can go back to what you were saying, but yeah, the chat is just like too busy typing and not listen.
There's an assumption, and no one can prove it other than all in bits, but having sold 500,000 Atom 2 days prior to the lawsuit being filed is a pretty good indicator that those funds are being used for the lawsuit.
Absolutely.
And that's on chain. There's a timeline of events. Sell the tokens 2 days later, file the lawsuit. $5 million worth. It's enough for me to say that there's a good indication that those funds are used for this legal proceeding.
So in the end, it's going to be 100. It's going to be like 1.5 to 2 million Well, more, right? You're saying 500,000 Atom or $500,000 in Atom?
500,000 Atom, so 5 million plus, because it was more than $10 a pop a month ago, right? It's $15 or something. And
Yeah, so
those went straight to I think it was Coin.
here we go,
Coinbase.
Lenny. It's not just freedom of speech. I don't think if this actually goes to court and there's a signed agreement that freedom of speech will matter at all. I'm just telling you what I think. This is not only on Twitter do people experts on freedom of speech.
Yeah.
You can't say whatever you want. You cannot. It is.
It's a facade, guys. It really is. By the way, Paul, that's hilarious. Yes.
So 793. This is very much just a sentiment check, right? This is the non-financial way of the community telling all MBits that we don't approve of the lawsuit, that it's damaging to all parties, and that it shouldn't exist, and no one benefits from it, right?
So
I think there's already a few. Yeah, right. And I think that, and it's non-binding. That we can't force all MBits to do anything. It's a community sentiment request that says this isn't helpful. This isn't positive for the ecosystem. Let's just drop it, move on, and actually build the future financial system like was envisaged when the hub produced its first block, right? The whole idea of this is to create a better future and an improved future of finance. Focus on that goal and stop focusing on shitty, historic legal systems and shitty barbaric practices and contracts that no one likes and no one wants in the future world. Get back to the roots of why you created this thing. I expanded on the proper bit there in my own thoughts, but that's the way I see it.
I'm voting yes on that one right now.
Does this have? I'm just reading over it real fast. Does this have anything in there where it says? I know it's a signaling, but does this have anything in here where it's like, well, if you ignore us, we're gonna go to 791 and we'll make it pass?
No.
Doesn't?
No.
Okay, then I'm voting yes.
It's raised after 791, so it'll end after 791. It's purely this isn't good. No one likes it. It's detrimental to the entire ecosystem. Drop it with no tangible outcomes, no follow-ups, no nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, but at the bottom it says she still gets to keep the money. Chicken taco, $7.94 is for my new house. $7.95 is for my sister's student loans. Is there zero lawyers in the Cosmos? Yeah, there are zero lawyers in crypto except working for the centralized exchange.
There's a couple of lawyers. A few of them have spoke, but obviously, being lawyers, they're very cautious about what they do and don't say. In terms of actual lawyers, I don't think there's many, crypto lawyers. I don't think there's many that kind of get around in Cosmos crypto Twitter.
No, I mean, and then
they probably glanced in and was like, "I'm not getting in there."
Come on, guys. We all hang on crypto Twitter all day, every day. We wear every single hat you can think of. Whatever the current flavor of the month is, that is our current expertise.
I agree.
We all know that.
Yep. There was a point that that Jacob was making before he left, and then who else? Was it Larry? Someone else. Lenny Bruce, that voting yes for this prop and passing it is a way to prove that Cosmos is decentralized and Atom is not a security. It's really hard to make that connection because you have no idea how the American courts are gonna rule on these tokens anyway. You can't use that as a way to convince people who are on the fence if they're going to vote yes or no or abstain or whatever. Well, if you vote yes, Atom won't be a security. It'll be sufficiently decentralized. It'll just be free from all it's just decentralized. Atom's there are two huge companies that are behind Atom, and that's how it's going to be looked at, whether they're active in developing or not. And also there are a whole bunch of validators that process all the transactions. A lot of them are in the United States. And then the rest are in Germany. So it's not that decentralized. So I don't think that was a great, Lenny, I have a job, right? I know you're unemployed and you sit there and you just get familiar with all these crypto cases in New York. I'm not reading any case. I don't want to read it. I can't care about everything at the same time. I can't. I care about other things. So I care about my number one NFTs.
Two of them.
Shameless.
He's
Shameless
minted
Rarma.
5 NFTs in his life. And he
Number one.
minted 2 rank ones.
I said something to Rarma that was pretty funny, but I can't remember what it was. I don't want to butcher it. What I say? If you something like I'm proof that if you live long enough, you eventually get to be number one at something.
That's funny.
Number one minter. On that day, I was the number one minter. It's like the guy who wins the home run derby and then he's out of the league the next year. It's the same thing. So yeah, I think we're done. We talk about something else. Talk about let's trash Juno for a little while and that pump and dump app DAO that everyone's abusing for token drops. Jesus Christ. Can someone just make one good DAO so that we could say, well, no, it's not all pump and dumps. There's a good DAO here. Is Maneki a DAO? I can't remember.
Eventually.
You're going to use DAO tooling, but I know
I
know you don't like being a DAO.
We're being patient. Well, that's the funny thing. Like when you go into DAOs, it doesn't mean if you launch something on DAO, like people are like, oh, you're a decentralized autonomous organization. You're a DAO. Like, no, you're using DAO tooling.
DAOs are probably the most centralized aspect of crypto because it's like a concentration of like-minded people that are like hopefully specializing in one specific thing, right? Like that's the advantage of it. It's like a corporation. So you could quickly do things to benefit your little organization in light of whatever the broader environment is doing. It's just not decentralized at all. Bees, why'd I get an airdrop?
Just because you're special. That's why.
Only you got it, Bees.
DAO is tooling, Sheldon. Yep, you got it. Yep. I was kind of giggle when people are like, oh, you're a DAO. I'm like, no, you're not.
He fucking said while I was typing it. Did a lot of cursing on this.
You missed the space in there, Sheldon. You're gonna get in a lot of trouble.
You're definitely never gonna get this one monetized, at least, Joe.
I don't really care, man.
It's only the first 5 minutes. If you swear in the first 5 minutes, you don't get monetized.
That's not true?
Pretty sure. Yeah. And your views are like substantially lower too. Like they analyze it, and if you swear in the first few minutes, you get like deprioritized.
I definitely took down 2 of my other live. I'm not good live, right? I've taken down half my live streams just because they just go off the rails. One I did with Tank. Remember the one? Tank was like basically trying to tell me he was kicking me under the table. Oh man, I just took it down. I was like, I'm not going to let Twitter. And then 2 of my other ones got flagged for copyright infringement that I did with Don.
I'm telling y'all, Twitch is where it's at. Y'all need to start watching. Speaking of Juno, didn't Jake start doing Twitch streams? Did he start doing Twitch streams for coding or
Discord at the moment? So Discord. He did one this morning. He jumps in the Juno Discord and does some live code and chill and explain kind of cosmosm.
Bees. I'm just trying to. Bees said she took some mushrooms.
Oh, you try to trip her out. Okay. So he just jumps in there and he writes some code, and I think he started writing like some form of NFT game this morning, like a piggy bank game or something. He's just like talking through how to write the contracts, how to structure them, all that sort of stuff, just so people can learn a bit better. It's pretty cool.
You gotta get that man on
That's
Twitch.
Awesome.
You could swear all day there. You can
awesome.
hot tub and code. You can hot tub and
multi-stream wherever he wants. I think he also recorded it, so he's going to chuck it up in the Discord or YouTube or something. I don't know, but so people can kind of go back and watch it. But it's I think I commented the other day. I think something that Terra did really well was build this kind of community of devs, and if Juno wants to succeed, they need to do the same thing. You need to get a bunch of devs in there. Build this culture of support and community building, and once they all get in there and start shipping code, then you get more products. You get stuff that community can actually use that entertains them and they have fun. And then, they got less time sitting on Twitter crying about the price and that the chain's dead. So
I have like this nightmare scenario where just like they just move everything to Wawa, and I sold all my Wawa tokens at like a.
As I said, it's only a nightmare if you sold all your Wawa tokens.
Oh my god!
I kind of disappointed that who is actually like taking a stab at being kind of an actual permissionless chain that's actually ran well. I think its place as the meme coin is actually really undervalued. And I think it should expand on that even further and like actually meme a lot more. It's probably one of the only chains that is a meme chain. You know, Cerberus died because it was just boring and shit, whereas Who is actually a bit of a meme. Like it should do really fun and stupid stuff as a meme chain.
Have you guys played the game, the dog game? Has anybody gone and played that game that
I haven't
launched with Passage Passage, I guess, the multiverse? Shame. I'm saying shame, you guys. I haven't done it.
I think I have Wawa dogs, whatever they're called, the dog NFTs.
I have a meta Wawa.
Yeah, somebody sent me one, and I still haven't played it. I'll just make a video of just me playing that game, and I'm really bad at video games, so I would probably give up really quick.
I can imagine why, Joe.
I don't have an attention span. I can't read, and I'm a little ornery. A little bit.
Hua. I'm an Australian. I butcher every pronunciation almost intentionally, just like Menakai.
I think you're saying it right. I think we should just change it to Menakai.
I agree. Yeah.
You know what's funny? Now that I'm like aware of Menekis, I look for them when I go to places like by the cash registers and stuff. It's just
wait until we're back in the next run, man. Everybody's going to be like, they're going to go get Chinese or some Asian cuisine, and they're going to see it sitting there, and they're going to kick themselves for not. They're going to go to the bathroom in that restaurant, and they're going to go, fuck, why did I not buy that Meneki V1, that Menekai V1? Jesus.
I hope so, because right now I have so many Menekis. I just want to do something with them, and I think I might just sell my racks. I feel like that. I always tell Robo and Malt that it's the biggest rug pull, worse than Meta Rats. Raccoon Supply. And
depends on the board, I guess.
Robo does not like when I say that. Molt laughs, right? But it's the second biggest rug pull on Stash.
How?
Get that $1 payout and then nothing after that?
The floor price is still 186 and there's 1,300 of them. And if you want to be critical, like in terms of the games that the NFTs are valued on, they haven't shipped any new games in a few months, and the floor's still $180, and I think the
the floor's good. The
mid price was 120. You're still in profit. What do you mean?
I bought mine at 260.
It's got you're good. If you got a higher rank than what's on the floor, you're good.
I got two good ones. I minted them literally the night before I had to go to the hospital at 3 a.m. for my kid to get born. So
it was an emotional mint or purchase, right?
I was just like, this is so great. Friday night, drinking bourbon, and then 3 a.m. I was like, and then in the hospital, I'm just looking at the raccoons that I bought while I'm waiting for everything to go down. You had to go through that as well recently, so I'm not going to get sympathy from you. You've been through a lot, Rarma, in the last couple weeks.
Busy few weeks. Indeed.
I bet.
I'm back to work on the 9th, unfortunately, and I'm yet to like enjoy that holiday that you get with paternal leave, where you don't do any work and just focus on family and house stuff. And I might be nonstop.
Yeah, a whole lot of focus, I'm sure. Mine went by. I had 6 weeks. It was a disaster. Joe, you're about to be replaced as a favorite with Tank. I don't know what that means. I mean, it's not going to hurt my feelings. If it'll make Tank feel good, that's fine. If you want to replace me,
I'm a grumpy old man. I never feel good. I complain about everything.
But if she's serious, actually, Bees, if you replace me with Tank, I'll just delete the pictures out of my phone that we took. So I'll just forget about you. took a bunch of selfies with everyone. I'll just delete.
I heard, you like demanded everyone get multiple selfies with you.
Yep.
Is constantly. It's like everyone was saying you were like that kind of awkward uncle you hadn't seen for a few years. It's like, Uncle Joe, come get a selfie with me, Uncle Joe.
You know what's the first night I didn't even take my phone out. I was just like having fun, and then I'm like, I have no pictures from that night. So then, while everyone was eating the second night, I just bothered everyone. I bother people.
Gentlemen, I'm a boomer, so I am going to be heading out of here. It's almost 10 o'clock. I need to go to bed.
All right.
I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hateful responses, but this is really fun.
It was good. I don't think there's going to be a lot of hate. I think everyone understands it's a conversation. It was pretty, other than one or two times when there's a bit of emotion in there. It was really fun. It was a good conversation. I think hopefully the community feels a lot more informed and just in general, like of the situation. And I think it's probably one of the first like video sessions that's been talked about. So, Joe should get some good numbers. Looking forward to his head growing even bigger.
Yeah. Before I leave, if you don't mind me saying, #drop the case. I got to get out of here though, guys.
I'm not hashtagging things.
No, I'm not hashtagging nothing,
Right,
but I just gotta say it. Damn it!
I stopped
think it's brought the
hashtagging.
lawsuit, by the way.
I voted for the last prop 793. I voted yes. So people in the chat tell me I'm too lazy. I don't vote. I'm not voting for 791. I don't want to be on the wrong side of that a year from now. And but the validators are cowards that avoid that prop like I am. But I'm not. Rarma, man, good to see you. I appreciate it.
You too.
And of course, enjoy your paternity leave. It's definitely I missed those weeks off that I had for sure. So thank you for using a lot of it with us tonight. Yep.
No worries. Thanks all. Talk soon.
All right. That's it. There's no good way to end this, so I'm just gonna click everyone out of here. You're gonna go. I think most people are not really paying attention anyway. There's nothing else to talk about. No more guests. Don hasn't messaged me, so he's not awake yet. I have messages to bring Jacob on the feed. I thought about it, but I don't know if I can keep 4 people in check, especially Tank, who likes to argue. Rarma is very hard to understand with his accent. And then Jacob, I don't know what he's going to talk about. You could see in the chat, he was talking about other things that, to be honest, like not the core issue, just more stuff that's been built around the other issue. So tell us something new. Unbonding all my secret right now. I'm going to move most of it into shade. Not financial advice because I'm down horrific. Unbonded 50% of my Osmo, moved it into White Whale, but then I did FOMO into the top at 7 cents with a big chunk of my supposed dollar cost average. So I'm not going to put any more into White Whale. That's it. The Jackal. I'm going to have Jackal on my spaces and my channel. Oh, you know what? You're here. Let me know if people are actually here in the chat, and I'll drop some. I got some good alpha. Paul's here. Bees is here. Indigo's here. Chicken top. All right. Yeah, I like White Whale. White Whale's. I think that the new Cosmos tokenomics, like the new chains, White Whale and Wawa, by the way, excellent tokenomics compared to other chains. White Whale, Nolus, looks like Archway also will have really good tokenomics where the platforms have a pathway to profitability. They use some of the profits to pay rewards rather than relying on inflation. I like that. So here's my alpha. I will have 3 in the next 2 weeks, possibly 4 major announcements. I'll give you guys one. So one of them is that I was going to cancel my Twitter Spaces forever. Like 3 weeks ago, I was going to cancel my Twitter Spaces. Twitter was just buggy. It wasn't fun. Audience members couldn't ask questions. People stopped showing up. Twitter Spaces was really frustrating. So rather than give up, I decided to bring a strategic partner to reformat my Twitter Spaces with an actual partner. And they'll be very serious, highly interactive, and it will be the only Twitter space that is simultaneously streamed on YouTube. So that means if it's NFT happy hour, you'll see the NFTs that we're talking about on the spaces, right? We'll do the spaces. If spaces gets buggy, people can't ask questions and listen, we'll just move it. We'll just close the Twitter spaces and it'll be on YouTube. So basically, I'll be on Twitter Spaces and YouTube at the same time streaming it. If you watch on YouTube, you'll hear the conversation on Twitter Spaces. So that if you're getting rugged or you just want to be on YouTube instead of Twitter, you go that route. If you're at work or you're like in bed and you just want to listen to Twitter Spaces, you'll be able to do that also. So are you guys going to guess my partner? I mean, no one's going to guess my partner. So the other thing, I'll give you guys another thing. There's like 35 people here. It's amazing. I can't even get 35 students in a single day to listen to me. So here's the other thing. If you're in my Telegram, about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I asked for your Omniflix address. Reason being is that you're going to get airdropped an NFT that I made. I didn't make it. Someone made it for me. It's my collection. Corium Joe. I don't know what that is. So if you gave me your Omniflix address, it's a very small number of people, very small, like 22. You're going to get the NFT, which is basically it'll be the first ever ownership token in Cosmos that's ever been airdropped. Put it that way. I'm not doing shots. Sunday night. You don't have to use Telegram, Paul. It's okay, because you could watch live streams now of Twitter Spaces. My Telegram has no conversation. It's all announcements. Liam. No, Liam doesn't really want to make content anymore. I knew Liam was going to give up. It was just, for the amount of work, it wasn't worth it for him. He's interested in other things, mostly gaming. So he's going to work with Omniflix, it looks like. Bushido, I definitely have your address. I have your Omniflix address. Well, that's it. It'll be highly organized Twitter Spaces streamed on YouTube with a legitimate partner who's outstanding. Cito. Why would you guess Cito? Because he was just making less and less content. And then I'm in his Telegram and he was just communicating less and less. He's more interested in trading and gaming, mostly gaming, I think. But yeah, it's not fun. It's very lonely to make content. This is the first time I've had myself talking to a chat. I don't even know if there's a delay. He's making YouTube videos again? Liam or Cito? Cito does very different stuff than I do. Cito's a validator first. And his YouTube videos are like highly technical conversations with devs. I don't like doing that. I don't know anything about that world. It's not Cito. No. I'm not going to let you guess. You won't guess. You will not guess. It's someone you've not seen before. But it's someone who knows a lot more than me about different aspects of what I want to do on my show. StreamYard. I'm not using StreamYard. But also, no, you're in Australia or New Zealand. That's probably the reason. It's like 14-hour difference. I don't even think there are satellites covering the southern hemisphere. I think it goes like a wire across the ocean to where you're at. You could probably look that up, but I'm pretty sure that's true. Takumi? I like Takumi. Why would you guess Takumi? Cito outsourced, but it's like that's his business though. He's a partner. A lot of the validators are outsourced, it seems. IBC ILP. IBC ILP. What's ILP? Yes, Liam is interested in governance, right? Cito's taking a different role. He's going to like mediate these like governance conversations, I guess. But I think that's really interesting because Cito has a platform where he'll be able to shift votes for sure with his platform, especially in a bear market. Interledger protocol. I'm going to have to write. There's no way I'm going to remember that. I have no paper here. I only have my fishing license here. I'm not going to write it on that. Here's something. Interledger. I'll put this on the list of 75 things I have to do still. I owe so many people YouTube videos. Not that I'm going to get paid for them, but I promise people I'll do them, and then I just forget. Indigo, I'm with you. For me, it was Crypto Cito, and I didn't really understand all those conversations, but then I quickly found DeFi Times. I thought DeFi Times made awesome videos for someone like me, and then Liam. Those are the three that I found. And then I realized I thought there'd be so many more, and there just weren't. So then I just started making my own videos. Coin Bureau. I would love to be friends with Coin Bureau. Did you hire a space? What do you mean, no? How do you not have paper? Oh, using paper causes climate change, so I don't have that much paper here. I have my fishing license, and then I have this. I allow myself to use one Post-it every moon cycle, 28 days. Gleep, what do you mean? Richard Hart's wet dream. No, yeah, but Cito was the first channel that I found. Cosmos Ape Alliance, they were on my spaces. I don't really remember everything about them. I know that they made a sniping tool, which I think is awesome because I think you need to have the NFT to use the tool. I am ultra, ultra, ultra interested in any gated access NFTs, whether it be tickets, privileges online, social privileges in various communities. Damn, no. Did I hire a space? No. I'm in my attic. I could show you guys. It's really bad. Here, look. There you go. The ceiling's right there. This is like a thing where you take pictures at like a little kid's birthday. I have a spaceship one, but I like the bricks. Yeah, I love DeFi Times. I think DeFi Times was really the main one that I got a lot out of. I probably spent more time watching Liam and Cito. DeFi Times was like, it was perfectly like chunked, like 15 minutes, 18 minutes, and I got a lot out of it. Maybe one day I'll just become a validator. I don't know. It seems like that's the way to go because you can't really make money doing crypto content for like one small segment of the crypto industry. So like basically, if I don't make money by like August, I'm just gonna quit. Like it's just it'll just one video will just be my last video. It won't be like dramatic. There'll be no like, guys, this is really emotional. I made 200 videos. Can't believe I'm about to do this to my 5 followers. This is my last video. I have to get a real job. You know, like it's not going to be like that. I'll just be one day. It'll be the last tweet, the last Telegram message, the last video. That's it. I didn't pick Cosmos actually. I picked interoperability, and Cosmos was the fastest one. I think that was like closest to achieving that. I definitely am interested in Polkadot. I have to make a Polkadot video. I scripted the whole thing out like in January, and I never made the video. There's the narrative for the next bull cycle is going to be bridging, right? It's like siloed blockchains. I don't think are going to be interesting in the next bull cycle. In the last bull cycle, the narrative was basically Ethereum gas fees and metaverse, right? That's basically what it was. The next bull cycle, my prediction, interoperability is going to be huge because bridging is going to be so important. IBC has the best bridging, if you want to call it that, it seems. So yeah, Cosmos kind of picked me because I was interested in interoperability. Dot is hard to use. I'm going to find out this week because I'm going to start messing around with Dot. Tokenization of, you mean like tokenization of like real world assets? I don't know, man. What part of the world is that going to be allowed? Unless institutions are doing it first. Dot sucks. Is that financial advice? Yeah, Crypto Conscious is cool. He's got good videos. He's very professional. He wears like a bow tie. It's like talking about dog coins with a bow tie on. It's a little weird, but yeah, I've messaged him before. He probably has like the best content, right? Like the most honest, like concise, easy to digest content. Another YouTuber that quit around the same time Liam did. He just didn't say anything. He just stopped making videos. Was Our Crypto Life. His videos were excellent. Mostly Stargaze videos, 5-minute videos, 10-minute videos. He was killing me on views, killing me on subs. He was really good, and he just stopped. So, yep. So hopefully you guys liked my 2 alpha drops here. Two bits of alpha. I have a third. Wait, so it's 1, 2. What the hell's the third one? Oh, this is really the fourth one, not the third one. So NFT Nashville, that Tank, myself, Cosmos Spaces, and Shroot are trying to organize. Atom Accelerator DAO denied our request for $30,000. So we thought that if we lowballed them, because we need a lot more than $30,000, but we thought like 30,000 would like get us started, and then we could get sponsors and whatnot. $30,000 was denied, even though a small grant is $1 million. 30,000 is just way too much for an in-person conference with a metaverse virtual component that's going to include like potentially hundreds or thousands of people. So just to give you some context, Cosmoverse, which was described to me as 3 days of hedonism, was like $800,000 to put on. And we want $30,000. It was denied. We're going to move forward. IBC Mafia. IBC Mafia, you might be one of the only 5 people that thinks I'm funny and gets my humor. Yeah, they don't like Tank. Tank's the only person, by the way, who's been denied 2 different spends. Usually, like you put up a spend, it just goes through like automatically, 94%. Tank's got denied twice. So no $30,000, but now we'll start the process of securing sponsors and selling tickets. And we'll just scale down what we originally planned to do, but we're going to reapply for $30,000 again, because we should have asked for like 60 or 80,000. We're trying to put it on very responsibly and like pay back the money using ticket sales. I think if we just sell the 200 tickets, the conference will happen. That's basically what's going to go on. So we already have the venue. 200 rooms were set aside. If you book a room, you'll be in the hotel where the conference is. 200. It's going to be outside Nashville. Yeah, no one likes Tank. Isn't that funny? Like no one likes Don, no one likes Tank, and no one tells the truth like them. Tickets are going to be like $100, something like that. But you're going to actually need your ticket to get in. The tickets are going to be NFTs. The tickets are going to burn. What we're going to do is platforms and projects that sponsor are going to get free tickets that they can give away to their community any way they want. They can raffle them off. They can give them away. They can keep them for themselves. That's what's going to happen. I got 2 kids under 2. You could come. I mean, it's going to be very family friendly. There will be like no sponsoring of like happy hours and whatnot. Like no alcohol will be included. If individual projects want to do that, that's fine. But like if we're getting money from ticket sales, sponsors, and community pool accelerated DAO, we're not like supplying people with alcohol. Paul, that's really nice, man. If you bought the ticket now, you'd be the only one with a ticket because we didn't make them yet. They're going to be NFTs on Omniflix. People are soft and can't handle the truth. I mean, I think Web3 just attracts a lot of dreamers who don't have a whole lot of like, I would say like manual labor job experience in their backgrounds. So I don't know if they're soft, like intentionally. They just, they come here for something other than to get yelled at a 9-to-5 job. No Maneki tequila ice luges. Buddy, we're not even going to have decorations. This is going to be just strictly about the conference. If there are decorations, I'm out. Like literally, it's going to be a full day of speakers talking about real shit. It's not going to be like coffee break. Every time we turn into Cosmoverse, they're on a damn coffee break. Every 5 minutes, coffee break, 20-minute coffee break. Like you can't sit and drink coffee at the same time. You have to leave the venue to get, it's so stupid. It's going to be a real conference. And then at night, you do whatever you want. It's Nashville. And it's going to be on a Friday. So you have the whole weekend. A good yarn. Give me a holler. No, no, I don't need you to talk. I'm talking to myself right now. You see how good I'm doing? Actually, I like Null on Game of Nodes. I watched like the first few episodes and I watched bits and pieces of other ones, but I appreciate that. And I would love. I've talked to you on Spaces before. You're a good dude. I liked when I talk to someone and like while they're talking, I hear the crack of a beer can opening. Do it in Michigan, way less expensive. What? Isn't Michigan the state where you guys tried to abduct your governor, like in broad daylight? You think we're going to do a conference there? You're out of your mind? No, I believe it. No, we've talked on Spaces before. I was on the Spaces where Don was relentlessly attacking you for no reason, and then even after you left, he just couldn't let go. She is way prettier. You'll be safe. Now my videos are going to get flagged for sexist content. By the way, U.S. Navy diver is one of the first people I ever talked to on Twitter. One of the first people. I don't like Spaces much. Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of Spaces. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to do them simultaneously on YouTube so people can choose. Grand Rapids. I don't smoke weed. Dude, I'm like 40, whatever. I have to wake up at 6 in the morning. I can't smoke weed. One of my friends moved to Kalamazoo to play baseball and he almost killed himself. It was so fucking boring there. He went to go play independent baseball because he didn't get drafted into the major leagues like he thought he would. And the food stinks in Kalamazoo. And he said he wanted to kill himself because he couldn't get like a proper deli sandwich. He asked where the nearest delis were and they sent him to Quiznos. A bunch of meth heads. Yeah, I don't smoke weed. I get why people do it, obviously, but Grand Rapids is the beer capital of the USA. Every place says that. Every place says they're the beer capital of the USA. Do you I have a brewery that's walking distance to my house. It's like a 10-minute walk. That's the beer capital of my town. Fucking New Yorkers. All right. You guys want me to end this or what? This has got to be boring for you guys, right? I think I talked for like 15 minutes by myself. But yeah, you guys got the alpha. NFTs coming. It's 3-month delay on my 22 NFTs that are supposed to come. Don't fade Michigan. I just don't like that time zone. Really like that. Like, I don't know, man. I'm more of I think deep down I'm a Southerner. Later, Jay. Paul's talking about the food in Kalamazoo. It's amazing. I bet Quiznos is your best deli. Indigo, I'm joking. It's the same time zone as Nashville. I know. My Verbo. Listen, I'm not going to Michigan. Is there casino gambling in Michigan? Yeah, IBC, 100% yes. 100% yes. When I go on Zillow, I look at houses in Texas. Anyway, I hope you guys would consider supporting that first Twitter space that will also be a YouTube stream. So you could be in YouTube and Twitter at the same time, just so I could get enough people to see if it's going to actually work. I'll do a live test this week with the partner. You guys will never guess my partner. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. Gun Lake. I'll give you guys 1 minute to guess my partner, and then I'm going to log out. One minute. Oh, Gun Lake Casino. I play poker. They have poker legal in Michigan. I don't know who Steve is. Who's Steve? Terry. Fucking idiot. Some good guesses here, but I'm not going to say Terry. Yeah, you guys are hilarious. Okay, Striker, let me tell you something about Robo. Robo spaces are going to be such garbage compared to mine. Such garbage. Bruce is going to quit on him. Yeah, Robo. I told Robo today. I wish I could bring up the chat and show you, but yeah, I told Robo just give up. Give up. His spaces are garbage. Garbage. Except when he does the round table. Tuesday night, whatever that is, round table, that's really good. All the other stuff is just, he's just filling up time. Him, yeah, it's bad. Finn thinks he's a rapper. Bees should just do her own thing. She don't need Rack FM. Some good guesses here. Yeah. Jim. Dwight. Yeah, Dwight. So, all right. That was a minute. Paul, I voted yes on the last one, 793. I'm not voting on 791. That's a disaster. I think the only two choices are yes and no with veto. No with veto means this should not go on chain under any circumstances. Yes means the community needs to do this because of whatever reason you want to believe. So I don't know. Abstain is the wrong vote if you're a validator. If you're just trying to get airdrop credits, you're an individual voter, or you're a validator with your personal wallet, abstain. Yeah, great. But I doubt this is going to be the later, man. I doubt this is going to be the airdrop prop. I imagine it is, and then you have this clip. But no, this is not the airdrop prop. Not Gaines. You don't want Gaines? Why not? Gaines is great on spaces by himself. If Cosmos Spaces votes abstain, I would be very disappointed. It's a super weak move on any spend proposal. Super weak. They're trying not to lose delegations. It means they know that if they know they want to vote yes, and it's not popular. But a lot of validators are actually scared of losing delegations in a bull market. Someone with like a presence on Twitter, is someone like, let's say 10,000 or 20,000 followers, is definitely going to be able to shift delegations from one validator to the next based on voting records. I think that's going to happen. I don't know who's going to have that many followers. Sito, Liam, Mo. It's not that many people with 20,000 followers. Gaines, you couldn't pay me to partner with Gaines. Oh, that's why you guys are so smart. Did I win an NFT? What do you want? No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that someone could, if they wanted to be like the validator police. They would need like 20,000 followers probably. It would only happen in a bull market. And in a bull market, people seem to care less about the consequences of different props. I think you'll see it on Stargaze first, right? Because Stargaze has the NFT collections that have validators and they're super active. I think Stargaze is like a real community governance chain, or the beginning of one. No, they wouldn't. No, those are like the two nicest guys. They're not dicks. You mean like the three that were here before? the three that were here. Is Timmy also from Michigan? Timmy. No, I can't do that anymore. Validating needs to be separate, I guess, but I think, what are you going to do? This is how it's set up. It's set up like this in Polkadot too. But in Polkadot, the validators don't vote with other tokens. It's like the only real main difference. And then they have trouble hitting quorum, right? So there's no good way right now. There's no good way. I'm very bullish on proof of work. Extremely bullish on proof of work. I've been DCAing Bitcoin for over a year. and not buying anything else really. Not at least not with fiat. I've been buying stuff with like profits from NFT flips. DOT is stupid. The thing about DOT, the thing that I'm interested in about DOT is that the DOT token as compared to the Atom token right now, interchain security aside, there is a clear use case of the DOT token in that it almost acts like an I guess like an intermediate step in investing in a specific chain. So you need to buy it. You have to buy DOT tokens, right? To be a or to vote on these parachains. So they're used in the parachain auctions. What's Atom? Atom is like the on-ramp token for the most part. For the most part. Listen, if Terra didn't collapse, or Luna, the Luna token didn't go down with UST, let's say, Atom might be a lot lower because more people might have stayed with Terra. So like Atom is like in a decent spot right now with not much current value proposition, but the amount is, yeah, but that's possible. That's a good argument. But with Polkadot, what that means is people are choosing to fund the projects that they want, which means the projects have to actually sell their vision to the investors. So, and I like that. I like that they have to actually have a plan, and there's hopefully some kind of accountability there. The amount is ridiculous, but also that limit of 100 parachains is arbitrary. They could change it to 1,000 at any time. The crowd loans, yeah, I didn't know what they were called, but they're called crowd loans. You must buy DOT. Like that's if you want to participate in a crowd loan, you must buy DOT. I'm going to go out on a limb and say in the beginning, a lot more people are going to care about crowd loans than will care about the consumer chains until they get off the ground. Yes, that's true. The wealthy should be able to build their own stuff with their own money, though. I think that's better. There's less downside risk for the users. Didn't realize my YouTube channel resonated so much with the Michigan demographic on YouTube. But yeah, Polkadot's very interesting. It's just another model, right? It's another interoperability model. What else is out there? I mean, I don't mind just using these bridges, like as an end user who's only going to be moving like a couple $100 every like now and then. Like, what's wrong with Axelar, right? Like for me, but I know like in the grand scheme of things, when the bridges get exploited, you know, it's really bad. Pendulum amplitude. Damn, you guys give me homework. I don't have much more space on this piece of paper. Pendulum. Is that the LUM token on Osmosis? Pendulum, LUM. Oh God, wrecked NFTs. Juno NFTs. Oh my God, there's so many good collections on Juno, and just nobody cares. Juno has good collections. I'm telling you, Cosmic Skymonks is good. Traders, great. Wrecked Gang, man, oh man. This Juno community just does not care about NFTs. I'm a teacher, man. I could steal all the paper I want from work. I was joking. I have so much paper. Like behind this thing is all my old teaching stuff. There's just stacks of stolen paper from my job, right? Notebooks. I write in one page and then I don't use the rest of the notebook. Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with that many parachains. Yeah, I got a bunch of traders. They're like $50 too. Lavana. Oh God, Rebel DeFi. I don't know the whole story with the dragons, but what? They were promising that they were going to be like dividend paying or whatever you want to say, passive income NFTs. And then like after they all sold, they didn't do it. Is it something like that? Rebel DeFi, you're funny, dude. If Rebel DeFi is on the stream, then I know it's really late because it must be like early morning over there. I haven't even seen the traders dude around in a long time, man. He was very disappointed. Yeah. But listen, NFTs are so risky for the creators. in a bear market. It's so hard to confidently launch a collection. 10:20 a.m. Oh, you're in Asia? I thought you were in Ireland or something. You must be in Asia. 10:20? No, maybe not. Yeah. Australia, Asia. Australia is kind of in the middle of nowhere if you look at it on a globe. Oh, you're in Thailand too? I've been to Thailand. I lived in Asia for a while. You guys can see my windows open and my background is waving. Indigo, do you make YouTube videos? My bourbon's downstairs. I'm too lazy to go downstairs. I can't drink, man. I got work tomorrow. I'll drink tomorrow night. But yeah, Thailand, I stayed in Koh Tao for most of the time. Flew into Bangkok, stayed there for 2 days. Went to Koh Samui for like 4 days. And then went to Koh Tao for like 12 or something like that, 15 days. When I stayed in Koh Tao, I stayed in like a little, like, I don't know what it was, like a little cabin on the beach. It was like a wooden cabin. And it was made of plywood. And then it had like wooden siding on the outside. And there was a space between the wooden siding and the plywood. And all night long, I could hear lizards crawling and scratching the walls. I didn't sleep at all. And then the second to last night, I heard in the middle of the night a cat murder every single lizard that was on my cabin. This cat went buck wild for hours, just screeching. It was the sounds were horrific. And then the last night I was able to sleep. Anyway, why don't you guys just log out? This is boring. It's boring. Very boring. Even now, 24 people. That's the most people. Oh, now it went to 32. Jeez. I'm gonna end the Twitter stream because it's dumb. Turn off Twitter. You guys know I'm just engagement farming you, right? Because YouTubers need to have a certain amount of watch time, and every minute that gets watched, it gets counted. Oh, I have a bunch of ghosts in the chains. Yeah, I know, Rebel. This is a long one, but I need the engagement. I'm struggling. Later. I'll definitely take that as a compliment from Null. Ghost in the Chain, love it. They're paying out royalties. Totally a just worthwhile project to follow. They got funded to build a game. I have 1% of the supply. What do you mean NFT aggregator? What do you mean NFT aggregator? That's very confusing. Jay, I didn't say that once the whole time. Like, subscribe, put on the notification bell. I don't do that. I always forget. Don, you have to smash the like button, obliterate the like button. Yeah, Don's better than me. I would love to see how that's going to look, the UI and whatnot. Right now, NFTs on Juno, that's so bad. You can't even see all your Juno NFTs in one wallet, right? Like, you have to go to different platforms to view your NFTs that you minted on the different platforms, whether it be Loop, Passage, whatever. Man, that sucks. Cardano is so much better than Cosmos with NFTs, and like, it's Cardano. Yeah, that's what we need, Rebel. It's been like, let's put that out immediately. That will definitely increase volume. People that forgot about their NFTs, they'll see them all. Like, oh yeah, I minted this garbage on whatever platform. But yeah, Ghost in the Chain, they moved some of their, I might get this wrong. They moved some of their mint proceeds to Kujira. I think they're LPing and staking on stars, Kujira, various APR chasing. They pay out to the holders. At any time, you can give your NFT back. They burn it and they give you the dollar equivalent at that time based on how much is backing the NFT. So they're technically deflationary. And if a bunch of impatient people burn their NFTs, it'd be very interesting. Garbage art. Yeah. The Ghost in the Chain. Yeah, they're so bad. I could definitely have done better with my left hand. Whoa. Rebel. Who's this Rebel guy? Moderator needs to block this guy. The moderator needs to block this guy. I don't know what he's talking about. Starseed. Thank God someone does. What's your PFP? Is that just like a Disney character or is that an NFT? Damn, Indigo, you're right. All right. You guys win. You guys win. I usually go to bed at like 9:30. It's 11:30. Fucking Rebel. What are you, the police? Telling that there's a security issue with the Ghost in the Chain? It's messed up. FUD. Indigo, you guys got me. Indigo, you're like, from when I first had my Twitter account, I remember like talking to you and like about NFT stuff. I think you were involved in Owlies from the beginning. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna shut this down. This is fucking boring. You guys can tell me. She's an owlie. So am I. I have an egg. I have an owlie egg. It's better than a Lavana egg. I have what do I have? I have a Genesis First Press copper baby thing. And then I have an egg. I have a watcher. That's about it. See you guys. Take it. Yeah, go. This is boring. This is so boring. Just engage in farming. Yeah, it was fun. I get both Tank and Rarma. They're both looking at it from two completely different views. They're never going to agree. Tank's worried about the community pool spending. Rarma's worried about the behavior of the foundational organizations. I totally get it. I don't care. They already, just the fact that they put this all over Twitter and it was total propaganda from the beginning. Oh, it's freedom of speech. It's not freedom of speech, idiot. It's not freedom of speech. You know, it's all about the token price. Be honest. It's all about the token price. And it's a pissing match on Twitter. I don't care. I mute all this stuff when I don't care about it. A year from now, someone will tell me, oh, this is what happened with the Grace thing. And I'll be like, oh, interesting. You know, now I know. I don't care. I knew it was Jasmine. I knew it. I thought I was going to say Moana, though. Yeah. I think I get what Rarma's saying. I get what Tank is saying. It could just be one big grift. It could be just one big play at the community pools because it is getting harder and harder to convince people that it's okay to dump the tokens. I don't know. It depends when I have free. I'll try to get to Twitch. I love Tank. Tank will dominate Twitch for Cosmos. Everybody should watch Tank's Twitch streams. He does some very, I would say TA, but sensible. He's not like making promises. He's not really doing price predictions. He's playing the probabilities, and you actually learn a little bit. Yeah, his time kills me too. I'm working. I teach classes, and then I teach a computer coding class in the morning at 8, so I miss Rack FM. Then I have another class at 8:45. And then right when Tank's thing is starting, I go into another class after like a short break. Once in a while, I can catch 9:45 Eastern time till about 10:30. I sometimes can catch some of these, but then I have to be in a quiet place to listen. And I work in a school. There's not that many places to hide in a school. I have to actually look busy a lot of the time. What kind of code? You'll laugh if I tell you. It's block coding. It's drag and drop. I'm teaching kids who like never used computers before, really, for other than like surfing the web. It's Snap, and then it's supposed to lead into a Python class, but we've never gotten to the Python part of it. And even then, like Python, I don't know if I could teach that. I took like a basic course a long time ago during COVID. I work in New York City. There are no bleachers. There's a parking lot though. That's pretty cool. We're like the only school that has a parking lot. Yeah, it's like good STEM stuff. You do Python. I took a course in Python. It was like a Udemy course. It was cool. I made a computer program with Python. I made a program where if I entered specific playing cards, it would rank the hand based on criteria that I set and tell you when you could and couldn't play the hand. It was like really basic. Like if I put in like 7 of diamonds, 5 of diamonds, it would say like, okay, you could limp on the button, but you can't call a raise for middle position with that hand. So it was something like that. Python. Yeah. I thought it was good. I mean, in the past I did like C+, HTML, JavaScript, super entry level basic stuff. So Python to me was like, you know, it was easy to do like a self-paced course. Paul, I'll end on Paul's comment. There you go. There you go. Got to end on that. Got to end on this. That's it. That's it.